base. 2 hitter Santino Rosso, senior batting 375 on the campaign. I'm Miles Grossman alongside a Long Island native Dan Bartels. So glad to bring you this one from the Bronx. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Now, 2 down, coming up. Yeah. And on second, 2 down. Been up to bat. The center fielder, Alex McCoy. Right. Side fielder, the Hofstra. I don't think.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan Gregware, beat reporter on the New York Yankees for WFUV Sports. You can find all my coverage on our social media platforms, including post-game reports, special features, and everything Yankees. WFUV Sports, your home for New York Yankees coverage all season long.
Mike's picking up my voice right on as I'm saying things, Mom.
And welcome back to Houlihan Park. We're not sure if we're getting a cross here, but we genuinely hope so. It's a 0-0 ball game, one hit for each side here in the bottom of the first. Ryan Teasy, first pitch swing, and now stands on second base. Two runners on for the Fordham Rams, nobody down. Man up to bat is Daniel Bucciero, 270 hitter on the campaign. That one high and in, past the catcher, and everybody advancing one bag. Ryan Teasy now stands on third.
This is a big opportunity if you're Bucciero. 9 RBIs on the season, looking to get into double digits. He's been having a slow start to the beginning of his season. As we said, Bucciero batting 270 on the year. He's the type of player who can bat well above 300 and obviously produce for the team as well. And he's got two ducks in the pond at Easy at third and Sailor at second, looking to drive him in.
Nobody down. Bases are in a nice spot. Second and third. This one a high fly ball to right, handled on the right side. Ryan Teasy tagging from third, and Fordham on the board just like that here with one down. Sailor moves over to third on the tag from second. One down and one across here for the Fordham Rams in the bottom of the first. And now stepping up to bat will be Andrew Canellis, the right fielder, the senior batting 271 on the campaign. Now an opportunity with Sailor on third. And of course, just one out. Dan, a lot of ways to score with one down and a man on third.
We just saw Bucciero do it. He got in the air to right field and got a sac fly as a result. And I'm sure if you're Canellis, you're doing and thinking the exact same thing right now. Just get the ball in the air. Again, the wind's not going to be too crazy today. Again, with the clouds and the overcast, you could really lose it. So you have to be wary of that. But again, if you're Canales, just put it in play. You can get a run home if it's deep enough.
So Canales stands in the righty batter's box with Sailor on third. This one skied to the right side. Shallow right fielder. A couple names making a play on it. It'll be the right fielder in the end. Masick throws home and no play. No running for Kean Sailor. So now two down for the Hofstra Pride here in the bottom of the first. And Tommy McAndrews, the sophomore catcher, will step up to bat. And McAndrews, a bat who was really solid in his freshman campaign, looking to follow that up, has been awfully slow to begin year two.
Yeah, he was one of the best players for Fordham last year. He was named a captain as only in sophomore year, Miles. So it just goes to show how much Fordham really cares about McAndrews and how well he is reciprocated by his teammates.
And the freshman righty, Cureri, drops in the off-speed stuff for strike one here. 0-1 to Tommy McAndrews with two men down and Kean Sailor standing on third base.
McAndrews, the 5th ranked prospect in the A10. His teammate Bucciero, the 4th.
And high and at the eyes of Tommy McAndrews out of the right hand of the freshman Cureri. Evens up the count at 1-1 here with two down.
McAndrews and Bucciero last year combined for 11 home runs, 75 RBIs in both of their first seasons. Both now in their sophomore campaigns, looking to continue to add on to what was a great freshman year.
Jerry fires and is fouled off left. McAndrews pushes the count to 1-2 now with two down in the bottom of the first.
This is the 77th meeting between these two schools. Fordham holds the 51-25 edge. Last time Hofstra won was in 2014, back in Hempstead, New York.
Cureri, and this one fired off the left foot of McAndrews and fouled back once again. The count holds at 1-2.
Hofstra not too far away on Long Island in Hempstead. Nice local school in the CAA, the Coastal Athletic Association. They were picked 9th out of 12 in the preseason poll. They currently sit 10th in the standings.
That one just high and outside on Tommy McAndrews pushes the count to 2-2. Here, a little deuces wild in the bottom of the first, 2-2 with 2 down. Kean Saylor leads off a third. He walked to get on. Of course, we were a tad late joining you here in this first, some technical difficulties, but now Joseph Cureri, the freshman, looks in on McAndrews as the fly ball out to center. Alex McCoy, the center fielder, parks under it for the third out here in the bottom of the first. Ryan Teasy came across earlier on the sac fly. 1 run will score here for the Fordham Rams in the bottom of the first. 1-0 Rams as we head to the top of the second here in the Bronx. We'll be right after this from Houlihan Park.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan Gregware, beat reporter on the New York Yankees for WFUV Sports. You can find all my coverage on our social media platforms, including post-game reports, special features, and everything Yankees. WFUV Sports, your home for New York Yankees coverage all season long.
And welcome back to Houlihan Park. Miles Grossman alongside a Long Island native, Dan Bartels here. The Hofstra Pride making the trip up from Hampstead to play just a one-game midweek matchup with the Fordham Rams. 1-0 Fordham through 1 inning. Arik Berg out there for inning number 2, the 6'1" sophomore righty out of Encino, California. 13 appearances as a freshman last year, a 7.36 ERA, but last time out, Dan coming off 3 scoreless innings, 3 Ks. He struck out the side in a high leverage spot at West Point, and now he gets his first career start. Bit of an opener position here for Berg.
Yeah, we'll see how far Berg goes today. He had a really rough start to begin the year. He posted a 37 ERA. He's really been working down from that start. He has an 8.59 now.
There you go. First pitch swinging. The first baseman, Steve Harrington, sends this one down the right field line. Rounds first. He'll hold up at second. And a powerful piece down the right field line off of the lefty, Steve Harrington. He was just batting 194 ahead of that. That one has to feel good. And now already a runner in scoring position for the Hofstra Pride to begin the top of the second. And stepping up to bat will be Luke Mazik. A very efficient bat, 364 on the campaign day.
Yeah, Masic's going to look to do what he can with the runner on second, nobody out. Anything to the right side will get him to third. That's what they're trying to do right now. Just get a run across. You saw Fordham do it in the bottom half of the first. Hofstra's going to look to do it in the top half of the second.
Here gets the strike across about chest high. Make it 0-1 now with nobody down here in the second. Runner leads off of second base here for Berg. He's in the stretch, fires home, and gets the swing and a miss. Luke Mazik, well late there on the pitch outside. Make it 0-2 against Mazik and Berg. Looking smooth here, Dan.
Berg in his last outing against Army West Point, he had a crucial striking out of the side in the 8th inning to hold Fordham where they were at. In that win, 7-5 over Army.
And Arik Berg drops in the off-speed pitch for strike 3. A 3-pitch strikeout there for Luke Mazik. And after a solid piece to begin the top of the second, Berg gets an efficient out there. And stepping up will be Mark Dorsian.
Yeah, Mazik on his way back to the dugout was talking to Dorsian, likely trying to obviously spread some information around about what they're seeing from Berg today. He has a really good fastball, but he's commanding his off-speed pitch as well. too.
And Burke, the off-speed pitch high and over the head of Dorsey and handled by McAndrews behind the plate.
That one looked like it just slipped out of Berg's hand. Again, you don't have to worry about the slickness today. It is overcast, but it is not raining. There was a little bit of a drizzle last night, but we are good for baseball today. 50 and overcast, Miles. Not too shabby.
Here's Arik Berg in the stretch. Runner leads off a second. This one chopped down the third base line. Bucciero handles it on the hop, fires over to first. And that'll be 2 down here in the top of the second. The runner leading off a second base will have to hold there, and Steve Harrington, the first baseman. But Berg, after the early contact of Hofstra, has handled back-to-back outs now. 1 out away from wrapping up what looked to be a hectic beginning of the top of the second.
Yeah, and if you're Bucciero, you did everything right there on a ground ball. 1 out, you get the ball to third. There's a guy on second. You check him, go 1, keep the runner where he's at second base in Harrington. And that's why Bucciero is such a good player. He is so well around the infield. He's so intuitive. And he's able to keep runners where they're at. And if you're Fordham, you get out of this inning unscathed. Bucciero's check and go 1 was the reason why.
High and outside on the first pitch, pushes the count to 1-0 here with 2 down. Berg fires back to second on the pickoff, and it's into center field. Ryan Teasy handles it. Christian Arrow, the shortstop, laid out, looking to cover, but Berg heaved it into center. Luckily, no one advances. Steve Harrington got to stay there, put at second base.
That's what you call a daylight play, Miles. Gennaro, the shortstop, if there's any daylight between him and the runner, the pitcher in Berg is going to throw the ball, doing everything they can to keep Harrington from advancing.
1-0 pitch, low and in here.
We've seen that so many times, maybe just watching A10 baseball, and that's such a tough play, that pickoff at second base. You see it more times than not skip into center field because it is such a bang-bang play.
And Michael Brown stands in the left-handed batter's box, takes this one once again low, pushes the count to 3-0 here. Harrington leads off a second base. And Michael Brown already 3 RBIs on the campaign, an opportunity to pick up a 4th. Really anything into a pretty large outfield at Houlihan Park would score the run.
Brown, the batter, had 2 hits against Columbia yesterday, along with his teammate Dylan Palmer and Matt Pelcher as well.
And the 3-0 fired in for a strike. It was surely a hold-up situation for Michael Brown. See if Berg can battle back now. 2 down, 3-1 pitch. Go. Inside to Michael Brown as he'll take his base. And now 2 runners on for Arik Berg in his sophomore campaign. Michael Brown leads off of first. And Steve Harrington leads off of second with 2 down. And that'll be the first AB of the day for Michael Floridis.
Floridis made a gorgeous play to end the 5th inning in yesterday's game versus Columbia. Had a jump throw in the hole. He was looking like Derek Jeter out there at shortstop. And he really holds down the defensive alignment.
Floridis lays down the bunt right back to Berg. Heaved over to first. And will it be a play? It will on the tag. Looked like Steve Lutazzi had to leave his base, but able to apply the tag as he got the body in front of the base runner, and Michael Floridis down the first base line, but nevertheless, no damage done for the Hofstra Pride here in the top of the second.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan Gregware, beat reporter on the New York Yankees for WFUV Sports. You can find all my coverage on our social media platforms, including post-game reports, special features, and everything Yankees. WFUV Sports, your home for New York Yankees coverage all season long.
Wachter, one of the hotter bats. 53 over the last 5. Here, Dan.
Yeah, 6 for 17, 368 in that stretch, 353 in that other stretch. He had a double, 5 RBIs. Wachter, man, 6'7", standing in the box. One of the biggest presences you'll see probably play on this field all year.
The first pitch in there for a strike. The second one chopped out there to short. Floridas handles it. The sidearm throw down to Harrington at first, and down on the ground out there is TJ Wachter.
Number 40,
Yeah, Floridas, we talked about it last inning. He just holds down defensively for that Hofstra team around the infield. He's so gifted in his ability to range around a baseball and throw a strike over to first. And Hofstra's very lucky to have a guy like Floridas in their infield.
So one down for Cureri here in the second. And the freshman in the stretch the whole way gets the swing and a miss from Steve Lutazzi on the first pitch. And Lutazzi, high expectations coming into the year, has been a little cold to start the campaign under that Mendoza line.
Yeah, he was on the other side of things playing for UMass last year. He was 5 for 18 against Fordham, 278, 3 runs and 3 RBIs when he played them. So I could see why he likes to hit here at Houlihan Park.
The 0-1 pitch low below the knees there. Pushes the count even at 1-1 here with one down in the bottom half of the second. A 1-0 Fordham lead. Steve Lutazzi in his first AB of the day.
We've talked about, Miles, how the transfer portal is just, it's eating up some of these teams around the country where you can just bring in any guy. It's tough for a coach, too, when you're put in that position to try to have a relationship with a player, and they'll be gone the next year.
So now a 2-1 count. Cureri stands in the stretch with the bases empty. He's a true reliever, if you will, Dan. Cureri turns and fires, fouled off of himself, it looks like there. Count will push now to 2-2 with one down in the bottom of the second.
Cureri, the freshman, 6 foot 195, only has one appearance for Hofstra. It was 2/3 of an inning against Manhattan on March 15th. He let up one hit, but no runs and struck out 2. So he's trying to build upon that performance today. As we said, only a freshman and typically in a relief role.
And Cureri, the freshman, turns and fires. This one well outside. Pushes the count full here, 3-2 to Steve Lutazzi. He's got some power on his bat, Lutazzi. 2 home runs already on the year, 8 runs batted in. This time around, he steps up with the bases empty, and now a full count as he faces the freshman, Joseph Cureri. Cureri turns and heaves. This one skied back to the left side. We'll do it all over, Dan.
Lutazzi, yeah, you said he is below the Mendoza line, 190 on the year. 19 games played, 16 games started. So Fordham's been trying to put him in the lineup as much as they can because he really can make a difference. We saw what he did at UMass last year, and he's looking to bring the same to Fordham.
Cureri out the stretch, just catches the left side of the plate there. And Steve Lutazzi down on strikes. Dan, he was ready to take his base, but he gets the call on the outside corner, and now 2 down as Nick Boza will step up to bat in the bottom of the second. Joseph Cureri with the K.
The good old backwards K, Miles. He got him frozen, froze Lutazzi on a backdoor curveball. Absolutely nasty. Nico Boza is going to be aware of that righty on righty because that hook is devious.
And Boza's been pretty hot as well. 7 RBIs last week.
Yeah, last 5 games, 368. He had a home run at Stetson early in the year, and William and Mary also on March 10th had a home run, so he's had some pop.
First pitch inside, making a 1-0 count. Cureri turns and fires. A powerful piece off the bat of Boza. Straightaway center. Alex McCoy tracking back. And a no-doubt home run off the bat of Nico Boza. Right over the 395 sign in center field. Nico Boza makes it a 2-0 Fordham lead here in the bottom of the second.
That'll be Boza's 3rd home run of the year, Miles. That thing just kept going and going. 395 to dead center field here at Houlihan Park. And Nico Boza got all of it. Really great swing for Nico, who's really earned this shortstop spot for Fordham, playing second base today, but with power like that, Miles, my goodness.
And the long ball has really been the issue for Hofstra all years. Through just 18 games, they've given up 30 bombs, and it was a 12-8 loss just yesterday on the road at Columbia. Really, the long ball was their undoing once again.
Yeah, and we've seen that all year from this Hofstra team. They've been not able to limit the team ERA on the pitching side, 9.18, but their opponent batting average against them, Miles, 307. So not pretty. And Nico Boza, just unbelievable on that home run.
So coming off the solo shot, Chris Gennaro chops one straight down Main Street over second base and into center field. A little two-out rally here for the Fordham Rams. A 2-0 lead already for the Rams at home here in the bottom of the second, 2 down. As now the lineup will turn over. Ryan Teasy, he's 1 for 1 on the day. First pitch swinging to begin the Fordham bottom half of the first.
Yeah, Teasy started off the game as he normally does, getting on base. He's so good at that. He sets the tone. He's a tone setter for this team, and he does that to perfection.
So now Chris Gennaro leads off of first. The strike called on Ryan Teasy here with 2 down. The bottom of the second, and the wind picks up a tad. As he said, about 53 degrees. Nice overcast day here in the Bronx. Not necessarily spring weather, but we'll take anything we can get at this point, Dan.
First day of spring this week. Midterms, excuse me, coming to an end, and spring break getting started around campus for Fordham. It's an exciting time, and conference play is on the horizon too if you're an A10 fan, and it's a very, very fun time of year.
Absolutely. Also, the final tune-up for this Hofstra squad before they begin CAA play this weekend. So here an 0-2 count to the leadoff man, Ryan Teasy, with 2 down. Chris Gennaro leads off of first. And the off-speed stuff dropped in on the inside portion. Strike 3 for Ryan Teasy. And 2 backwards Ks here for the freshman Joseph Cureri in the bottom of the second. 2-0 Fordham. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, top 3 action, Hofstra and Fordham.
What's going on, guys? Bridge Gotham here, your New York Giants beat reporter for WFUV Sports. Be on the lookout for weekly reports and game recaps on WFUV's YouTube channel. We'll be covering the action all season long. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at BGBridge for updates throughout the games. For all things Big Blue, stay tuned all season long.
And welcome back to Houlihan Park here. Top 3 action between the Hofstra Pride and the Fordham Rams here from the Bronx. We got a pitching change. The opener, Arik Berg's day is done. He shut down the Hofstra Pride through 2, and now Dominic Kuna comes in 6'1", 205. A veteran, the graduate, split some time on the mound between a starter and a reliever last year. 18 apps, 7 starts. And Dan, he is the second name called on here for this Wednesday afternoon contest. It's the righty.
Yeah, he was a Wheaton transfer last year. He has 12 1/3 innings pitched under his belt this year. 14 hits and 20 runs in those 12 1/3 innings. Kuna, someone who can really let up a lot of runs in an instant. He had a home run against him.
And Dylan Palmer, first pitch swing, and it's a ground out down the second base side and overthrown there. Nico Boza had to rush the toss there and just by Steve Lutazzi. So the speed there of the leadoff man in Dylan Palmer forces the issue of Nico Boza. Now he will stand on first.
Yeah, Palmer will go up to second as the errant throw from Boza went into the Fordham dugout. That was really the only play he had, Miles, if he wanted to get Palmer Second baseman was ranging to his left. He bobbled it at first, and he really just threw whatever he could towards first base with the ball from the ground. And that was really his only chance of getting Palmer, and he didn't.
You're exactly right. So now Palmer leads off a second base, gets to advance freely as the ball was thrown near the dugout, and the first pitch dropped in there. It's a strike to Santino Rosso. Rosso already 1 for 1 on the day and picked up a stolen base. He's an awfully productive bat, 381 on the campaign.
He also scored Palmer with a triple last game in part of a Hofstra 4-run fourth inning when they played Columbia. They did lose, as you said, 12-8. But it was a good game. There was multiple moments throughout that game where it looked like Hofstra was trying to fight back, as we said, that 4-run fourth inning. But they could not overcome the long ball that we saw from Columbia. Cole Hage, Sean Miller, 2 solo shots. I mean, that Columbia team, Fordham, we'll see them later on in the year. But Hofstra could not get it done.
So the off-speed pitch just outside of the right arm of Kuna. And now Rosso showing off the patience here. It's a 1-1 count. Nobody down, a runner on second in Palmer. This one fouled back on the left side. Pushes the count to 1-2.
As we said, Kuna, more in a relief role this year. He was more in a starter role last year. Fordham tried to give him the opportunity to maybe make more starts. They gave him 5 innings pitched against Illinois earlier on in the year on February 18th. He let up 3 hits, 3 runs. Wasn't a good showing.
Kuna, the 1-2 pitch is well low. Make it a 2-2 count now.
But if you're Kuna, you're okay in this relief role. You're a grad student. High leverage, opportunities are going to come his way, and he's been doing well over the course of the past couple of games that he's played in to keep him in that role.
So a 2-0 Fordham lead here, and a swing and a miss out of the left-handed bat of Santino Rosso. That'll be the first strikeout of the day for Dominic Kuna. Now the runner on second, Palmer, got a hold just there. 1 down here in the top of the third.
Nasty stuff there from Kuna. Just the bottom fell out of that pitch. You would think it would be a splitter. Really good stuff from him.
So now Will Kennedy steps up to bat for the second time today. Cade on his first. This one out to Boza at second. Fired over to first. Lutazzi the catch. The runner in Palmer will advance to third base. But there are 2 down for Kuna here in the third. And the center fielder, Alex McCoy, who tracked back earlier, had to watch that home run fly over his head. Well, now look to get some offense back for the Hofstra Pride on the road. He's in the right-handed batter's box with a runner on third base. The off-speed pitch well low there. Make it a 1-0 count here with 2 down in the top of the third.
Yeah, and if you're Hofstra, if McCoy puts the ball in play here with a runner on third base, he can fly. He's 12 of 14 on stolen bases this year. If you're an infielder at the Division I level, you have to know your clock with runners like this. And anything on the ground, they're going to be sending them with 2 outs.
That one well outside. The fastball low and out. Pushes the count to 2-0 here for McCoy. He's a .356 hitter on the year. Got some power to his bat as well. 3 home runs, 18 RBIs, and certainly any sort of hit will score a run here. And Palmer from third, and the fastball fired in on the inside portion. The called strike to make it a 2-1 pitch. Now Kuna takes a peek at looks like a pitcher's communication watch on his left wrist. Gets the call, fires the right-handed pitch, and Alex McCoy couldn't hold up on the check swing. Make it a 2-2 count now.
You see that more and more, Miles. Last year when we saw Siena play, they had their stuff at their belt that they would go to in terms of signs. Now they've kind of put it on the wrist for a lot of these pitchers, and it's actually easier that way.
And a 2-2 pitch is cut through and missed right into the glove of Tommy McAndrews. And 2 Ks here for Kuna to start the top of the third. A 2-0 lead for the Fordham Rams. Bottom 3 action when we come back. Hofstra, couple hits, no runs so far. 2-0 Rams. We'll be right back here from the Bronx.
What's going on, everyone? This is Danny Scott, your New York Jets beat reporter. Join me all season long for updates, features, and analysis as the Jets' young core looks to take flight. Follow me on Twitter, dscott_33, or check out our WFUV Sports YouTube page for all things Jets.
And bottom three action here. Hofstra 0, Fordham 2. And now we still get a look at the freshman arm. It looks like Joseph Cureri going into today, Dan. It was pretty much a question mark. This is only his second collegiate appearance.
Yeah, and he's doing really well right now, Miles. Only 2/3 of an inning under his belt in collegiate baseball. So you have to give your hats off to him as well, stepping in today. Now pitching into the third inning. We'll see how long the leash is from Frank Catalano, but it'll be very interesting to see.
32 pitches through 2 innings of work. Of course, he has given up those 2 earned runs. And now in the stretch to begin, it'll be Kean Saylor in the left-handed batter's box. Takes the fastball well outside, making a 1-0 count here to begin the home half of the third inning.
Saylor's a big piece to this team when he is playing well, Miles. We saw last year when he had the walk-off against Rhode Island, he didn't even start that game.
And this one chopped down the first base line. It is fair. It's handled by Steve Harrington. He'll take it to the bag himself. And now we got one down here in the bottom of the third. And Daniel Bucciero steps up to bat for his second AB of the day, a 267 average, or excuse me, 270 average on the year. Already got the RBI on the day coming off the sacrifice fly.
Bucciero, such a powerful hitter. He's gotten national recognition, rightfully so, but you would like to see him hit a little bit better. As we said, 270 on the year. It's still a good average, but, you know, in terms of Bucciero and the kind of player he is, you would like to see that a little bit higher.
And he really set the bar for himself pretty darn high in his freshman campaign. The off-speed pitch taken inside, pushes the count to 2-0, and now Bucciero showing off that discipline in his sophomore campaign. And last year, do you remember when Fairfield came to town? It was the Bucciero brothers facing off.
Yep, we had that this past week as well. It was great to see Matt and Daniel, the Bucciero family. It was great. And we also saw Zach Sellinger on the Fairfield side.
Oh, that's interesting. That's where he ended up.
Yeah,
Wow.
yep. So he killed it. 2-time A10 Player of the Week last year. First team All A10. He killed it for Fordham.
A lot of power on his bat as this one's pieced up into the left center gap. It's to the Coca-Cola sign at the fence. It'll be a stand-up double off the bat of Daniel Bucciero, and that's exactly what he did a lot of last year in his freshman campaign. As we said, set the bar very high for himself, and now sees that average rise north of 275. Stands on second base with one down.
That'll be Bucciero's 6th double of the season. You could just tell, Miles, the way he hit it, the sound of the bat, the ooh of the crowd. Bucciero's that kind of player, can really make a difference. Absolute shot. Now he's standing on second, and Fordham's looking to add to this lead.
So Joseph Cureri, now the freshman, up to 38 pitches here in the home half of the third, taking off. And this one's going to be heaved into left field. Bucciero turns the corner at third. It'll be a play at the plate and scoring with ease. Daniel Bucciero forces the issue at third base. The catcher behind the plate, Mike Dorsian, heaved it into left field. And Bucciero now capitalizes as he jogs home, making a 3-0 Fordham lead off the air behind the plate.
That was weird seeing Bucciero take off. He is 5 of 5 on stolen base attempts this year, but he's not a speedster by nature. And seeing him take off there, if that was a good throw by Dorsey and Miles, Bucciero might be out.
And what stands out about Bucciero is he doesn't look like he runs, right? But he almost takes advantage of that. As you said, 5 of 5 on the base paths this year as Andrew Canellis fouls this one down the left field line. Well foul. Make it a 1-2 count now with one down, and already a 3-0 Fordham lead here in the home bat in the third.
That's why Kevin Layton's been at the helm of Fordham for 13 years now. He knows how to play small ball. He knows how to keep teams on their toes.
Definitely his identity. Canellis. Powerful ball skied out to left center. Will Kennedy, the left fielder, jogs under it, and now there's two down, and the base is empty for the Fordham Rams here in the bottom of the third. Of course, already some damage done, and the bats have been consistent so far for the Fordham Rams. One across in the home bats in the first, same for the second, and same for the third, up to 3-0. Here with two down in the bottom of the third as Tommy McAndrews now steps up to bat. Sub 180 hitter on the campaign. Another guy who set a really high standard for himself as this one's powerfully hit to left center and over the head of Alex McCoy. And another home run straight away center for the Fordham Rams. Make it 4-0 here in the bottom of the third. And Tommy McAndrews, another sophomore who's been slow, gets a big piece out to center. 4-0 Fordham Rams, bottom three.
Miles, slow start. That was his first home run of the season for McAndrews. So he really has been waking up. And if you're Fordham, you need that. Your sophomore captain behind the dish better produce for your team. And McAndrews certainly just did there. What a swing. What a shot.
TJ Wachter fouls the first pitch back. 0-1 is the count. Joseph Curreri getting some solid run here in this midweek matchup. You could tell Hofstra has conference play ahead of them this weekend, not using an unusual arm in the freshman Curreri, just his second collegiate appearance, but there he drops in the off-speed pitch. TJ Wachter swings through, and it's an 0-2 count now to Wachter.
So back-to-back innings, Miles, back-to-back home runs for Fordham.
And the fastball well low bounces across the plate there. Pushes the count to 1-2.
Wachter 6'7", 225, Wading River, New York, P27 Academy. He's been a player on a lot of people's radars, especially being from Long Island myself. I've known about Wachter a long time.
And Wachter takes this one low and inside. As you said, low to TJ Wachter is not low to the average person. This is a tall individual standing in the right-handed batter's box.
Essentially Aaron Judge.
Yeah, quite literally.
You know, just minus the 60 pounds of muscle. Wachter can get there. He really, if he can turn it on, Miles, you're looking at an MLB prospect.
Also a little Spencer Jones comparison,
Right, there you
can
go.
say, as he swings through the off-speed pitch on the outside corner. The strikeout will end the third inning here for the Fordham Rams, but a couple shots out to center field early in this one. 4-0 Fordham. When we come back, it'll be the Hofstra bats to start the fourth. Back in 60 seconds from the Bronx.
Keenan Troy here,
with Nick Guzman.
and we're responsible for keeping everyone in the loop with the world of soccer, breaking it down weekly on FUVFC.
From the international stage to the domestic leagues, myself and Keenan focus on key storylines, the week's biggest matchups, and everything that the beautiful game has to offer.
Matty B. Monte, Michael Hernandez, and James Burley also lend a hand as we keep our finger on the pulse of the United States men's national team, as well as the build-up to the 2022 Qatar World Cup. You don't want to miss it.
FUVFC is a production of WFUV Sports.
I thought
Top four here from the Bronx. 4-0. The Fordham Rams lead the Hofstra Pride here on this midweek matchup. Wednesday afternoon action. I'm Miles Grossman alongside Dan Bartels. We got another pitching change. Andreas Perez, 6'3", 220. The Loyola High School product in Los Angeles, California. A very famous high school in Jesuit circles, and now he was a former club player here on the Fordham Ram team last year. And now here. Division I baseball. He's out there pitching for the Fordham Rams.
What a story, Miles. He was cut multiple times trying to get onto this Division I team. And he always had the stuff. And speaking with people who have played against him and hit against him at the club level, they said it was some of the best stuff they've ever seen at that level. So he's earned the right to pitch on a Division I mound, and safe to say all of us are proud of him.
So Perez, standing straight away, will face Steve Harrington here to begin the top of the fourth, and the fastball catches the outside corner. 0-1 count now, and Perez, as you said, not cut from this team. I think what really stands out about this story is the resilience.
Yeah, and if you look at just the way he pitches, and he's not throwing 95, so how is he on a Division I team? Well, his stuff is so nasty. It's constantly moving. Think of a Marcus Stroman, how you never really see a straight fastball from Marcus Stroman. There's always some movement there, whether it be a sinker or a slider. And as a hitter, if everything is moving, a lot is moving in your mind too, Miles, for sure.
1-1 now, just catches the outside corner. And you can see Steve Harrington refusing to swing here. It's kind of that's the Perez key here. He keeps you guessing.
And Harrington was a second-team All-CAA selection in 2023, so he's a good hitter.
And the 2-1 swung on and missed. And they'll say this one fired down to first, or I believe we had the scoreboard correction was the 1-2. That's why McAndrews was able to mishandle and still fire down to first base. So it should be the K for Andreas Perez here.
Drop
one down.
Drop third strike. We'll go to Andres Perez there.
So now stepping up to bat, Luke Masaic. That one just outside. Fordham wanting to did he go? He did not. So it'll be a 1-0 count now with one down here in the top of the fourth. Andreas Perez faces Luke Masaic. Perez turns and heaves with the right hand, and Masaic swings through the off-speed pitch. Will even up the count at 1-1. Here with one down, Masaic, 356 hitter on the campaign, 10 runs batted in. I mean, those are really gaudy numbers. Found down the left field line, making a 1-2 count.
For Hofstra, it's been tough since they won the CAA in 2022. They went 30-23, 15-9 that year. Won 4 straight one-run games to end the season that year. They really have been killing it. This year, not so much. 2-8 in their last 10 on a 3-game losing streak. So it's been tough.
Perez gets the swing and a miss. Another drop third strike. McAndrews fires down to Lutazi at first. And 2 drop third strike Ks for Andreas Perez, the former Fordham Club baseball product. Now getting 2 Ks at the Division I level.
Miles, his stuff is so good that McAndrews can't even catch it behind the plate. That's how much it's moving. So Andres Perez killing it. 2 Ks through 2.
Perez at the eyes this time of Dorsian, the catcher. Dorsian really struggling to start the year. A .091. Yes, that is correct on the average. As Perez, the fastball in at the chest on the inside portion will get the called strike. 1-1 now the count.
Dorsian is a transfer from Coppin State, Archbishop Malloy High School.
Gets the cut and a miss. Well laid there. And Perez rocking and rolling. Now a 1-2 count to Dorsian. And Perez is just moving with confidence. He takes the little peek at the watch on his left wrist and right back going.
He's ready to go. He got thrown into the fire when they played number 1 Wake Forest to begin.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan Gregware, beat reporter on the New York Yankees for WFUV Sports. You can find all my coverage on our social media platforms, including post-game reports, special features, and everything Yankees. WFUV Sports, your home for New York Yankees coverage all season long.
Some technical difficulties here at Houlihan Park, but we're back underway. All you missed in those 15 seconds we were off was Nico Boza, strike three, so he's down there. He's got a home run to his credit, and now the K, and Christian Arrow also 1 for 1 on the day. Will now step up to bat. The bases are empty here in the home bats in the fourth. 2 down. First pitch swinging, skied foul right. See if it's playable in front of the Fordham dugout. Well, foul.
Gennaro had his first home run of the year in their win against Army West Point on the 17th. They had a kind of a round robin with Fairfield they played that day. They split on the day. But in the third inning, Gennaro got his first home run of the year. He's really been hitting well recently, and that's why he's starting at shortstop today.
Gennaro 1 of 1 on the day. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Squares to bunt, gets it down the left side. Pitcher covers, heaves it over to first, but it will not be in time. The throw will pull the first baseman Harrington off the bag. And the speedy Gennaro able to beat it out.
Hobie Gennaro's second hit of the day. Beautifully placed bunt. That's why before games, Miles, you see them putting baseballs down the third base line, down the first base line, practicing bunting behind the L screen. That's what they're doing, and Gennaro does that so well, and that's why he got on. He put it perfectly, and that's why he's on first base. And he's going to look to steal, too. Kind of a second leadoff hitter for this Fordham team.
Gennaro leads off of first. Now Ryan Teasy up to bat. That one low and out, pushes the count to 2-0 on Ryan Teasy.
Teasy, St. Charles North High School 4 years ago. Ever since then, he's been with the 4 years here at Fordham. He's a leader. He's their leadoff hitter. He's someone they really rely on.
So Ryan McLaughlin leans in, the pitch well outside there. Make it a 3-0 count to Ryan Teasy.
Teasy with a 442 on-base percentage, sporting an 825 on-base plus slugging.
There's the 3-0 to Teasy. Just catches the inside portion on the fastball. Ryan McLaughlin makes it a 3-1 count now with one runner on first base and Chris Gennaro. 2 runners already down in the inning. Ryan Teasy, the 342 hitter on the campaign. And Gennaro took off, but fouled back off the bat at Teasy. Will push the count full now. 2 down here.
Gennaro at first, 2 of 3 on stolen base attempts this year. As we see some clouds starting to move in, Miles, nothing too wary in terms of rain, but the lights are on here.
So McLaughlin in the stretch. Gennaro takes off. The off-speed pitch just a tad outside. Ryan Teasy earns himself a walk here with 2 down in the bottom of the 4th. And now Chris Gennaro on second, Ryan Teasy on first, and Kean Saylor steps up to bat. He walked in his first AB of the day. And Saylor, has really been the hottest bat over the last 6 games for this Fordham Ram lineup. 500 average, 12 of 24 coming to the day. 9 runs batted in over that stretch. Also 6 runs scored himself. He's been extremely consistent.
Also a home run, has some pop too. Quite the player. He is a two-way player. He's seen about an inning, if that, in terms of pitching. Didn't see any time last year on the mound. But, you know, if you're Kevin Layton, Saylor in his junior year, you see so many two-way players across the country now. Why can't he be the next?
So now 2 on, 2 down. Kean Saylor takes this one on the outside portion. The fastball in there for strike 1. Ryan McLaughlin now to 14 pitches, make it 15 with the strike there. Looking to get out of the 4th unscathed. McLaughlin in the stretch. 2 runners on the knee. This one skied out to the left side. Charging in is Will Kennedy, the left fielder. Parks under it, and that will be that here for the bottom of the 4th. No damage done. Ryan McLaughlin, about 17 pitches, 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. 4-0 Fordham Rams. We'll be right back here for the top of the 5th.
What's going on, guys? Bridge Gotham here, your New York Giants beat reporter for WFUV Sports. Be on the lookout for weekly reports and game recaps on WFUV's YouTube channel. We'll be covering the action all season long. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at BGBridge for updates throughout the games. For all things Big Blue, stay tuned all season long.
And welcome back to Houlihan Park. 4-0 Fordham Rams. Andy Perez, the former club player, out there for his 2nd inning of work. He faced 3 batters, 3 strikeouts so far. And Perez wearing number 42 for the Fordham Rams in their pinstripe whites today. Back out there for inning number 2 of work. He'll face Michael Brown. And Michael Brown, a 258 hitter on the year, takes this one in there for strike one. Of course, it is 4-0 Fordham Rams, top 5 here from the Bronx.
Talk about a stress relief, Miles, striking out the side in your first inning of work today. That's got to feel good if you're Perez out there right now.
And that off-speed pitch dropped off well outside there, evens up the count at 1-1. Michael Brown, one walk to his credit on the day. Now Perez turns and heaves once again just outside. McAndrews, the catcher, handles, but it is a 2-1 count. And Brown proved that veteran high in that first AB. This one chopped up the center. Handled on the bounce there. Christian Nero gets it over to first and just in time to Steve Lutazzi. And there Christian Nero showing off the range right behind second base when he made that one. One down here for Hofstra in the top of the 5th.
That is not an easy play, Miles. Working to your left as a shortstop, you have minimal time to get rid of that ball because Brown is flying down the line. You have maybe 3-4 seconds max. Gennaro knows that. He got rid of it. And that's why he's starting at shortstop today. You could say it could be Nico Boza, sure, but Gennaro has earned the time at short making plays like that. As you see the alignment, too, for the second baseman, Boza on the left side of second.
And second pitch chopped down the left field line. Bucciero charging in and making the play. Heaved over to Steve Lutazzi. And a little delayed call from our first base umpire. But it will be just in time. Daniel Bucciero charging in from third base and making the play on the run. 2 down here in the top of the 5th. And still 5 batters faced for Andy Perez. 5 down.
Yeah, Bucciero cutting off the shortstop Gennaro. He said, you know what, let me take this one. You had such a great play, the batter before. Bucciero, such a strong arm, doing everything right. And now we have 2 outs here. Andy Perez, 5 up, 5 down.
And exactly who you want to face with the bases empty and 2 down is Dylan Palmer. 462, a hitter on the year. 14 runs batted in. Now he has a 0-1 count. This one dropped well outside. Evens up the count at 1-1.
Palmer batting 462. There's only 34 other players in the country above 400. There's only 4 batters in the whole nation above 500. Ethan Hibbard was the catcher for Fairfield, who Fordham just saw. Had 4 home runs in 2 games.
And Palmer swings through the off-speed pitch well late on the hack, making a 1-2 count. And Andy Perez now 1 pitch away from back-to-back 3 up, 3 down innings. Here's the 1-2 from Perez out of the right hand, skied into the left field, backing up his Kean Sailor and handling it there. Out in left field, 3 up, 3 down for the Fordham Rams here in the top of the 5th. When we come back, it'll be the home bats from Houlihan Park. 4-0 Fordham. We'll be right back after this.
What's up, guys? I'm Julia Moss.
And I'm Will Talent.
And we're 2 of your hosts for one of WFUV's football podcasts, NFL Friday.
Tune in every Friday for all news and updates around the National Football League.
Also, we'll be making our picks of the week around the league on every episode. Check out NFL Friday wherever you get your podcasts to catch the action.
Fordham 5 here, the Fordham Rams hosting the Hofstra Pride here for this Wednesday contest. I'm Miles Grossman alongside Dan Bartels. 4-0 Fordham here from Houlihan Park. And now Andy Perez has just shut down the Hofstra Pride over the last 2 innings. 6 batters faced, 6 straight outs. And now Daniel Bucciero out there to lead things off at bat for the Fordham Rams here in the bottom of the 5th. And Bucciero already productive on the day, had a double and a sacrifice fly in his first 2 ABs.
Yeah, and he came around to score on the error as well from the catcher, Dorsian. And he hit an absolute frozen rope on that double, Miles. He's got to be feeling good today.
That one high at the eyes of Bucciero, making a 1-0 count. Back out there for his second inning of work, Ryan McLaughlin, who for the first time got Fordham put up a 0 in the last half of the inning. McLaughlin fires in on the inside portion. The ball in there for strike one. 1-1 now the count to Bucciero.
Fordham as a team, Miles, last year, Fordham was outscored 154 to 101.
And Bucciero chops this one out to the shortstop in Floridis. Floridis over to Steve Harrington, and a routine ground out for Bucciero. One down for Ryan McLaughlin and the Hofstra Pride here in the bottom of the fifth.
So Fordham last year outscored 154 to 101. This year, outscored 140 to 137. So that tells me, Miles, Fordham has better pitching. They're allowing less runs, but also better offense. They're scoring more runs. So take it for what you will as a slow start to Fordham's year last year. They're obviously way better than the 0-10 start they had with, being 6-13. They're going to look to add a couple more wins before they got into conference play, because that's really when the wins matter the most.
So here's Andrew Canellis. Takes the first pitch, 0-1. This one, it looks like got his left foot there. He will jog down the first base line. He's 0 for 2 on the day. In his third AB, he gets knocked on the left foot. He jogs down the first base line. And now the Fordham Rams have a base runner here in the bottom of the fifth. One down now as Tommy McAndrews will step onto that. McAndrews already 1 for 2 on the day, and last year, if you remember, Tommy McAndrews was a name where you just expected a few home runs every series after it felt like at a certain point.
Yeah, and he really became that player for Fordham. Him and Bucciero, really a tandem to be messed with in the A-10. And we saw a little bit of power on display for McAndrews today. It's his first home run of the year. Get it out of your system. We've seen that with Gennaro earlier on. He got it out of his system. Maybe that's what Fordham needs to get these gears going.
So now your bottom fifth from the Bronx. One down now is Tommy McAndrews, the sophomore catcher in the right-handed batter's box. Ryan McLaughlin, the righty in the stretch, turns and fires. That one just a tad outside, making a 2-0 count for McAndrews. Now leading off first continues to be Andrew Canellis, who just got hit on the left foot. The first base runner of the inning for the Fordham Rams.
Talk about how much McAndrews needed it. Entering today 0-6 in his last 6 plate appearances with a run in his last 2 games. So that home run, he needed it, Miles.
And McAndrews fouls that one into the mitt. The first strike of the AB, make it 2-1.
His last time he was really productive for Fordham, not in the last 2 games, McAndrews. He was 1 for 2 with 3 walks and 2 runs on March 15th. That's when they played Army.
Here's the 2-1. Taken off from first. There is Canellis. The hop on the throw makes it a tad late there. Dorsey couldn't snag Canellis, and now a runner in scoring position with 1 down. Here a 3-1 count to Tommy McAndrews, and just like that, Fordham Rams got a runner in scoring position.
Canellis a perfect 4 of 4 now on the stolen base paths this year. Fordham not really known as a particularly fast team in terms of their wheels, but they run the bases smart and they get the job done.
Here's the 3-1 from McLaughlin, high and inside. McAndrews tosses the bat there, and now it'll be first and second for the Fordham Rams with 1 down in the bottom of the fifth. And TJ Wachter at 6'7", who's batting .353 over the last 5 coming into today. And now, with 2 runners on, we got the meeting on the mound here for Ryan McLaughlin. We got some activity in the Hofstra Pride pen, maybe just trying to buy some time and get another arm loose.
That'll be Chris Rojas, the pitching coach out there. Saw some time in AAA between the Padres and the Phillies. He's been around the big league system. He can really add some good influence to these kids on the mound today, and that's exactly what he's telling them right now. He's just trying to make sure that they stay poised, don't take their head out of this game. It's 4-0. It's very easy to lose the game mentally at this point.
Exactly right. A 4-0 Fordham Ram lead here in the bottom of the fifth. It's a pretty overcast, dreary day here in the Bronx. Those clouds have really inched over and made it an even darker day. Now we got the lights on for this afternoon contest at Houlihan Park, about 4:20 Eastern, as now TJ Wachter stands in the right-handed batter's box. The first pitch swing and fouled right back as the helmet swung off a little bit. He'll readjust, but an awfully juicy spot for the 6'7" righty bat.
Yeah, you could tell Wachter's eyes lit up, swung out of his shoes, helmet almost came off, and he's a guy we've seen in batting practice, Miles. He's able to have so much power, he could put it down the right field line the opposite way. That's just, if he connects, and you see him fouling off to the right side now, he's really trying to go that way. And when he connects all 6-7 of them, he can put it out in an instant.
You're exactly right. Fouled off to the right side, does push the count to 0-2, and TJ Wachter struck out already once today. One of the more reliable bats on the year for the Fordham Rams here. Quickly behind 0-2, 2 runners on with 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th. McLaughlin jams Wachter. Wachter sends this one out to second base, and the grounder handled on the first base side. Looks like Steve Harrington, the first baseman, will do it himself. The runners will advance. So now second and third for the Fordham Rams with 2 down now. And of course it is Canellis on third and Tommy McAndrews on second. The man stepping up to bat now will be Steve Lutazzi.
Yeah, Wachter on that last play, kind of off the fists, had a lot of topspin towards first. Essentially what would be a bunt, Miles, but again, it's 2 outs, not the same effect. But you do have 2 runners in scoring position for Lutazzi, who has been known to get the big hit in his career.
So lefty Lutazzi fouls the first pitch back, swinging left. You're exactly right. You see an awful lot of room out there in the Houlihan Park outfield if he's just able to drop one in there. And they're really respecting the bat of Lutazzi. Outfielders are certainly back down.
Yeah, right field gap is for the taking.
And this one skipped inside. Looked like it just nicked Steve Lutazzi. And in a way, the Hofstra Pride are lucky they got a piece of Lutazzi because it was surely by the catcher and Mike Dorsey, and it would have at least scored the runner from third in Canellis. So now the bases are loaded for a name who's already got a home run on the day. Nico Boza at .324 on the year steps up to bat with the bases loaded in 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th. Already a 4-0 Fordham lead, an opportunity to burst this thing open. So Ryan McLaughlin still in the stretch with the bases juiced. The righty turns and fires, and the off-speed pitch just high above the numbers of Nico Boza, making a 1-0 count now.
Boza's a type of player who loves to live up to the moment. He soaks in the limelight. He bats .500 with runners on base. He's got the bases juiced.
Here's the 1-0 to Boza. McLaughlin, the righty, fires and just catches the upper right-hand outside corner on the righty batter, Nico Boza. You make it a 1-1 count now, and Boza didn't really like the call.
No, he did not. Umpiring crew today, Richard Katz, Justin Alvarez, Matt Chris, home first and third.
And that one well inside, just above the knees of Nico Boza, pushes the count to 2-1. You can see Ryan McLaughlin, it seems like the pace on the fastball has picked up over the last couple of pitches.
Could be trying to overwork. Again, you can't have anywhere for Boza to go.
And the 2-1, the off-speed stuff just clips the outside corner, making it 2-2. And now McLaughlin, 1 pitch away of getting out of this bases-loaded situation unscathed. McLaughlin, the righty, turns. This one checked down the left field line, just foul over third base. It was a powerful grounder that would have at least scored 2. But Nico Boza will do it all over against Ryan McLaughlin, the righty. And McLaughlin has only given up 1 hit today. You see the bases loaded, only off of 1 hit.
And those are the ones that honestly sting the worst when you just can't seem to put these batters out.
And Boza flares this one well right. Looked like he was well late on that, if you will. Once again, hold the count at 2-2. Here with 2 down in the home half of the 5th inning. It's a dreary, windy Wednesday afternoon here on the campus of Fordham University. The Fordham Rams lead the Hofstra Pride 4-0. And here Nico Boza, an opportunity with the bases loaded. This one jammed inside and fouled back once again. McLaughlin has done a good job of getting these pitches in on the hands. And I don't know if you were ever taught this as a kid, but aiming at the hands was a principle of Little League.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's what they're trying to do. Get the knob on the ball, throw it out there. And if you can jam them, again, we saw with Wachter early on in the inning.
they're just not going to get it done. No matter how big you are, how strong you are, if you get jammed on the inside, it's tough to get a hit.
And the 2-2 low and outside there pushes the count full to Nico Boza. And the tension really brewing here in the bottom of the fifth. The bases loaded, 2 down, and now a full count. Ryan McLaughlin, the 6'3" freshman, facing Nico Boza, the 324 bat. And Fordham with a 4-0 lead, an opportunity to burst this thing open. And stepping off there was the freshman McLaughlin. And you hear the Fordham dugout calling for the balk here. But now as the wind really picks up here, it'll be tough to land this strike. Full count, McLaughlin well outside to Nico Boza, and that will walk in a run. And you can tell the freshman presence of Ryan McLaughlin was starting to show late in that AB. He walks home a run, make it 5-0 Fordham Rams. And everybody moves over one bag. 5-0 Fordham with 2 down in the bottom of the fifth. And now Christian Arrow will step up with another bases loaded situation.
3-2 bases loaded. Carousel was in motion. Again, Miles, you had nowhere to put him. Now you have Christian Arrow like a second leadoff hitter for this Fordham team. It's not going to be easy to get out of this inning if you're Hofstra.
And as of late, you can sort of hear the gusts over the microphone, but you see the American flag out there in right field is hollering now. We got some about maybe 20, 25 mile an hour gusts here, which is certainly a factor for the freshman Ryan McLaughlin, who is just trying to settle in. Not only as a freshman does he have to battle Christian Arrow, a bit of a veteran at the plate, but the wind is intensified. He's struggling to find the strike zone here.
Well, when we began the game, Miles, the wind was slightly blowing out to center, nothing too crazy. You're more seeing it left to right now, but actually more in. And if you're a pitcher and you have the wind at your back, you feel like $1 million because, every pitch feels like it has an extra giddy up on it. We'll see if it plays here for McLaughlin, but again, also blowing in is the wind. If you're a batter, you got to be watching.
Rain beginning to sprinkle as well.
You got to be cognizant because everything's going to be in today.
So bases loaded, McLaughlin high above the eyes of Christian Arrow and making a 2-0 count. And let me tell you, this one thrown over the head of Ryan McLaughlin, but they're able to handle in the infield. So everybody holds. But let me tell you, with the rain starting to sprinkle a bit, the wind intensifying, it would be hard to throw a strike right now. And it's a high leverage spot. Tommy McAndrews leads off a third. Steve Lutazzi on second. Nico Boza on first. McLaughlin, the righty freshman, drops in the strike to Christian Arrow, making a 2-1 count. With 2 down now. Already 1 run across here in the bottom of the fifth. Ryan McLaughlin walked in a run, and now the freshman righty turns and fires, just catches the inside corner. Christian Arrow thought it was a little low and in, but it will be called a strike. Now strike number 2, 2-2, with 2 down and the bases loaded. Ryan McLaughlin facing Christian Arrow here in the bottom of the fifth. The righty freshman in the stretch. This one just fenced off and sent into right center field. This one will get down. And Christian Arrow rounding first. This will at least score 2 here. Now it scores Nico Boza. And the bases clearing triple there off the bat of Christian Arrow. It was a 2-2 pitch with 2 down. And now the Fordham Rams have burst this thing open. 8-0 Rams here in the bottom of the fifth. And the wind hollering here in the Bronx.
Christian Arrow looks like it might have been an injury in right field with the dive.
Laying out there to get it, exactly.
But that was a beautifully pieced ball, and good for Christian Arrow. He's really heated up, and he was flying all the way. You could see he even would have went home if he was able to on that, but
And Luke Masick is the body getting some attention out there in right field. Important to mention as well, Christian Arrow was slicing, got some help from the wind, dropped out there in right center, and the right fielder went full extension, Luke Masick. And now it looks like it is the trainer of the Hofstra Pride out there giving some medical attention to Luke Masick, of course, who just took a tough tumble coming off the dive, but it is 8-0 Fordham Rams on the bases clearing triple. Christian Arrow, the hero here in the bottom of the fifth, and it was a major 2-out rally here for Fordham.
those are some of the toughest balls to get to as an outfielder, Miles. You have Gennaro, the righty, the ball is slicing towards the right fielder, but it's
Powerful
slicing
winds.
that too, and it's also slicing away from him. So he's got to make up a lot of room to get into that gap. And I'm not so sure what happened. He might have tripped over himself again. It's a little slick out there now that the rain's kind of been coming down for a minute or two, but
And just also just put the body on the line, right? Just the
Right.
sheer contact of body fully horizontal as it hits the turf can't feel good. But it looks like he is up and standing, gets the hat back on. He's got the glove on the left hand and just trying to walk it off a little bit. You can see him limping out there in right field, but now the rain's starting to come down a little bit more here. And of course, our umpire crew got to consider something here. So 4-0, or excuse me, was 4-0. Make it 8-0 now. 4 runs across here for the Fordham Rams here in the bottom of the 5th. And now a windy, sprinkly Wednesday afternoon here from Fordham University. Ryan Teasy will be the batter to step up next, but now
I'm not so sure. He might be coming off the field.
yeah, it does seem Luke Masick, the right fielder of Hofstra, who fully laid out on the previous play, seems to be jogging off. We might have some substitutions. It does look like Steve Harrington, the first baseman, is jogging over to the bench to maybe switch into an outfielder's glove and get out there, because Luke Masick does not seem to be all right. He's limping and not putting any pressure on his left leg.
He is walking off on his own power, which you do like to see. But again, you don't like to see a limp either, Miles.
So it does look like 34. Steve Harrington will be the name out there in right field. And then checking in at first base now will be number 25, Sean Lane, the righty.
Sean Lane, funny enough, played against him in high school a lot. He was at St. Dom's. He was a Newsday top 100 player every single year of his career. He was one of the best players. Certainly he had such a poise about him. And it's nice to see him get some time on this Hofstra team. He was originally a verbal commit to Notre Dame. Shows the kind of player he is. And then he went to Maryland, a year there. Now he's at Hofstra. But
back home.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. And Hofstra's kind of a program, we talked about it before the game, Miles. They bring in these guys who maybe aren't performing to the level that they think. A lot of talent, right? A lot of these kids, but just not at where they want to be in their careers. And Lane's one of those guys.
So Christian Arrow leads off at third base. Ryan Teasy into the batter's box. The first pitch out, make it a 1-0 count to Ryan Teasy. And now sprinkling here in the Bronx.
We had a game earlier on in the year against St. Peter's that got delayed for a little bit due to rain. It might be an instance here.
As Ryan Teasy once again fences this one off. It's a high fly ball to right. And this one over the head of the right fielder, Steve Harrington. And it will score Gennaro from third. The heave in over the head of the second baseman, Michael Brown. Santino Rosso will recover the third baseman out there, but 1 run will score on the double off the bat of Ryan Teasy, making it 9-0 Fordham Ram lead as the rain picks up here, and it looks like the runners will have to retreat to the dugout here, Ryan Teasy and co, as the rain intensifies, but it looks like it will be a pitching change. I almost thought we were going to get to a weather delay, but it will be a pitching change here.
Well, the way the rain is coming down, Miles, it should break in a little bit. But you want to make sure you get a full, complete game in 5 innings. That's kind of the reason they're all still out there right now. But we'll see.
So there you hear it. Tanner Sanderoff, number 24 is the name. Checking on the lefty arm. Out there for the Hofstra Pride now. It is a 9-0 Fordham Ram lead here, still in the bottom half of the 5th, 2 down. And Sanderoff 160, a skinny freshman, 6 foot, 4-year member of the baseball team at James Hubert Blake High School in Silver Spring, Maryland. So travels up about 7 states north. He was an all-metropolitan pick, 3-time MVP, batted .548 as a senior. But now in a rainy contest in the Bronx, he will be on the bump, the lefty arm.
3 innings pitched on the year, 10 runs allowed, 5 of which were earned, so it gives you a good snapshot as wasn't really his fault. Again, 8 walks also could be very troublesome if you're a pitcher, but the right field today of Hofstra getting some work. Ryan Teasy had a shot out there that got down. The wind is really picking up left to right. It's just going to take everything to right field.
And it's amazing watching this wind pick up, because when we began this broadcast, Dan, it was a little overcast, but you didn't have any sort of 20-mile-an-hour winds like we have at the moment. As you see the American flag just waving left to right there. Heavy gusts. You see the netting here at Houlihan Park is just waving back and forth. The Fordham bench, everyone's grabbing their winter coats, getting that extra layer on, because it has gotten awfully chilly as we have the pitching change here in the bottom of the 5th, 2 down. And the Fordham Rams looking to tack some more offense on. Already 5 runs across here in the bottom of the 5th. They've really opened this thing up. And now Tanner Sanderoff, the freshman, at 6'1", 160. Lefty arm out there now for the Hofstra Pride. And he will face Kean Saylor, who's 0 for 2 on the day. Ryan Teasy takes off from second base, and he's going to be in there with ease. Classic small ball right there. It's raining. It's going to be a tough play at third. It was a no-doubt takeoff situation there for Teasy. And now with 2 down, Ryan Teasy stands on third, and Kean Saylor up to bat in the left-handed batter's box. And just trying to fend off the little bunt attempt down the left field line. Kean Saylor couldn't get it down, making an 0-2 count now.
You want to say Teasy taking off for third was more of out of defensive indifference, but it wasn't. They just did not have a play at third base, and that's you spoke to it, Miles. On a day like this, with these conditions right now, if you're Fordham, you have to be like that and play that kind of style of baseball.
And Sanderoff pulls this fastball into the right-handed batter's box and well low, making a 1-2 count. Had the waste pitch, surely used it there.
It's a similar thing in basketball. Like if it's 10 seconds left in the game, you're up 20. You're not throwing down a dunk to end the game, like out of showboating or whatnot. Is that a similar instance here with Fordham? I don't know. It could be. It's a definitely sizable 9-run lead, but I don't know.
This one fouled back.
Something to think about.
Kean Saylor holds the count at 1-2. Here with Ryan Teasy on third. The rain continues to fall here in the Bronx. And, of course, there was some showers predicted for today, but really nothing like what we've seen so far. Also was predicted to pass by this time, as this one once again held on to. Ryan Teasy takes off from third. There'll be no play at the plate. And just bounced past the catcher, Mike Dorsey, and Tanner Sanderoff seems to be having trouble gripping the ball. And now we will head to what seems to be a weather delay. 6 runs across for the Fordham Rams. Make it 10-0 Fordham.
They saw after that ball that skipped to the backstop, they had to call it. Can't have that go on for the rest of the game. We'll see how long the rest of the game will go. It is not an official game yet. Bottom 5, 2 outs. Fordham with a 10-0 lead. I don't know, Miles. The conditions just pick it up here and really out of nowhere.
So it is a weather delay here in the Bronx. The Fordham Rams, a 10-0 lead. They open this thing up here in the bottom of the 5th. And now our umpire crew checking in with both dugouts, trying to figure out how we should proceed. But 10-0 is the Fordham Ram lead. Bottom of the 5th, 2 down. And now, of course, it would be bases empty with a 2-2 count. But it doesn't look like we will have baseball anytime soon. I'm Miles Grossman. He's Dan Bartels. We'll take a quick break here from Houlihan Park. Updates to come regarding the weather delay.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan Gregware, beat reporter on the New York Yankees for WFUV Sports. You can find all my coverage on our social media platforms, including post-game reports, special features, and everything Yankees. WFUV Sports, your home for New York Yankees coverage all season long.
And welcome back to Houlihan Park. It's a weather delay between the Hofstra Pride and the Fordham Rams here in the Bronx. 10-0, the Fordham Ram lead. It was an absolutely dominant affair from start to finish. The Fordham Rams tacked on 1 run in the first, 1 run in the second, also 2 runs in the third, and then 6 across in the bottom of the fifth. And of course, the weather picked up. The freshman pitcher at just 160 pounds, Tanner Sanderoff, couldn't really get a good grip on the ball. And of course, that at that point, that's when our umpire said, hey, we might need to call this thing. But now, at the moment, it's a 2-2 count with 2 down in the bottom of the fifth. Before the Rams lead by 10 runs. But of course, then it would not be an official win until you reach that 6th inning. And with the rain pouring down now, the wind picking up here in the Bronx, it's an interesting situation. The Hofstra Pride probably don't want this one to continue, while the Fordham Rams are saying, hey, we need this one in the books.
Yeah, it would be great for both sides. It is good if you're Fordham, you have a 10-0 lead. That is certainly playing in their favor right now. The weather, though, Miles, is not playing in their favor, and we'll see if they can even resume this game. Fordham having a game of their own, 2 home runs, one by Tommy McAndrews, one by Nico Boza. They were finally putting together a good game, and we did not expect this weather the way that it did. But that's exactly where we're at right now. And for Fordham, this would have been a great win for them. If they can obviously get the win, they'd improve to 7-13 on the year. And for Hofstra, 6-12, they would fall to 6-13, 2-9 in their last 11 games. It's been tough for Hofstra, but they've had some really good players this year doing a lot of great things for them. So it will be interesting to see where this weather goes. It's going to be here for a little bit while longer. And Miles, it was a tough game today, but for Fordham, not as much.
Yeah, Fordham going to feel good a bit about this one, right? I mean, 6-13 on the campaign. What would be a dominant home win still hanging in the balance. And of course, the next step to get play underway is to get our umpires back. Our umpires will have been, driven off into their umpire locker room. And until we get them back, of course, there will be no decision made whether or not game will be continued today. But Dan, at the moment, it does seem like that decision will not come anytime soon. We have an infinite weather delay, if you will. I'd be awfully shocked if this one got back underway within an hour or two or at all.
Right.
Of course, Hofstra is still here, but weather delay. Got word from our sports information director, Scott Kwiatkowski, that there will be one final effort to get the umpires out here right now. The rain is not that intense at the moment, but of course it will intensify over the coming hours, it seems, given the radar. So whether or not it would be a good decision to get under play, we will see. But at the moment, the weather is slowing up a tad, but still waiting on our umpires to see if they will exit their locker room. But we'll take another quick break here from Houlihan Park. Back right after this.
Hey everyone, I'm Michael Calamari, here with Andrew Galati, your main host for the all-new golf podcast here at WFUV, On the Green.
We'll be breaking down all things on the PGA Tour, including tournament predictions, recaps, and news surrounding the sport's best players.
We'll also be joined by recurring hosts Chris Hennessy and Sam Davis, as well as others along the way.
You can listen to On the Green on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Get ready to hit the links here on the green.
I mean, I thought that was like perfect.
And welcome back to Houlihan Park. A weather delay here in the Bronx. About 50 degrees and drizzly. The rain seems to have held up. Of course, Fordham, the home team this afternoon, is in the position where they want to finish this game. You got the umpires in the locker room. Fordham Rams up 10-0. Not an official game until you reach the 6th. I'm Miles Grossman along Dan Bartels. We'll bring you through this portion of the weather delay, but we did get word that in about 2 minutes, the umpires will be out there to make a decision. Now, whether or not they'll decide to play with rain on the horizon, Dan, that is TBD.
Well, let's put on our weatherman caps, Miles, and you could tell that there is a little bit of rain moving through here. Some of the heavier stuff might just miss the Bronx. That's kind of what they're looking at right now. You see some dark purple, not good signs, but also you see some light blue around where we are right now. So 80% for about
And when
the
you
next
say light blue, you're referring to the Apple Maps light purple,
Yeah.
meaning light rain, dark purple, meaning moderate.
Yep.
Got you.
Yep.
Just to put that in perspective,
But
where we're at.
not the best though. But hey, we might have some baseball, Miles, so that's
Yes.
kind of a positive.
No doubt about that. But today was a day that the Fordham Rams will have to feel awfully good about. These midweek matchups, really just tune-ups for the weekend. As we know, we had Aurichburg in the opener spot, more of an opener than a starter. It was his first career start in the history books, but Fordham got the offense going right away. 1 run in the first, 1 in the second, tacked on 2 more in the third, and then, of course, had a couple pitching changes, silenced the Fordham Rams for the first time in the bottom of the 4th. But then things unraveled there in the bottom of the 5th. Fordham Rams were leading 4-0. They tacked on 6 more in the home half of the 5th inning, and now it is a 10-0 lead here in the bottom of the 5th. We have our umpires back out to make a decision. Getting rushed out there in the golf cart type vehicle. Escorted out to the third base line here at Houlihan Park. And now it will be the umpire's decision on whether or not these are baseball conditions. But Dan, at the moment, the rain has completely held up. It seems like we might get some baseball in.
I think we will, Miles. It looks like the umpires, along with some of the players, are making their way towards their respective positions. Hofstra will take the field again, and Fordham, the batters, you got Key and Saylor ready to lead it off. But Miles, what a good thing. We are back.
I thought it was over then.
It definitely looked that way for a minute.
So the situation as it stands, a 10-0 Fordham Ram lead. We're here in the bottom of the 5th inning, set to resume coming out of the weather delay. Of course, the lefty freshman at 160 pounds, Tanner Sanderoff, out there on the bump to get a few warm-up pitches, but Kean Saylor, when he resumes his AB, it will be a 2-2 count. And Sanderoff will be just one strike away from wrapping up the 5th inning. But, of course, this one, with the rain looming large, any baseball to push us to the 6th or the 7th to make this one official is, believe all the Fordham Rams really are looking forward to this afternoon.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're looking for. And they're on the verge, on the precipice of batting around, too. Kean Saylor, the only remaining batter who did not bat in the last inning. If you're Fordham, you got to be feeling good with a 10-0 lead. And you can see some blue skies actually creeping in, too, which is nice. All day, we've had just loom and gloom.
And this was not really in the forecast. I mean, I knew we had some 1 p.m.-ish showers. We were 3 p.m. scheduled. Did not expect to be interrupted by a rain delay, but it looks like we're all set. The rain has held off. Tanner Sanderoff, the freshman lefty, on the bump in the stretch. A 2-2 pitch as we resume to Kean Saylor. And a hack and a miss in one pitch, and that's how the 5th will end here from the Bronx. So we resume out of the rain delay. 10-0 is the Fordham Ram lead. We're through 5 innings, and Hofstra will look to get the bounce going on the other side. But 10-0 Fordham Rams. We're back underway. And we will return right after this for inning number 6.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan Gregware, beat reporter on the New York Yankees for WFUV Sports. You can find all my coverage on our social media platforms, including post-game reports, special features, and everything Yankees. WFUV Sports, your home for New York Yankees coverage all season long.
And top 6 action here from Houlihan Park. Fordham Rams 10, Hofstra Pride nothing. We got another pitching change here for the Fordham Rams to start the 6th. Zach Carson, the graduate pitcher, Greenwich, Connecticut product, began his college career at Florida Southern before transferring over here to the Atlantic 10. 5.2 innings pitched on the year, 12 hits given up, 3 strikeouts, with an ERA north of 12.7. The lefty will look to see that number drop here against the Hofstra Pride lineup that's been awfully silent on this midweek matchup. So to lead it off here in the top of the 6th will be Santino, Rosso, 1 for 2 on the day, a 376 hitter on the campaign, really the number 2 bat right behind Palmer, and what's been a pretty solid 1-2 punch atop the Hofstra lineup this year.
Yeah, and Carson, the pitcher for Fordham, from Greenwich, Connecticut, also where his teammate Chris Gennaro is from. Transfer from Florida Southern, played ball out in the Hamptons in the summer. He's going to look to keep Hofstra at bay and off the board.
And Carson fires in for strike 1, lower inside portion in there. 0-1 count now to Rosso. Rosso struck out once today. Also got the hit, 1 for 2. Now he's on base. Up to bat to begin the 6th here, as that one's fouled back straight over top, and it'll be an 0-2 count to Santino Rosso.
He leads the Pride in home runs this year, Miles, with 5. But Hofstra as a collective today can't get any offense of their own going.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Rosso, sky to the right side. Tracking over on the right side, the first baseman Lutazzi, but taking over the second baseman Nico Boza. tracks it down in foul territory for the first out here in the top of the sixth.
Boza taking full control over that, manning the right side of the infield.
So now Will Kennedy, the lefty, will step up to bat. 0 for 2 on the day, including a strikeout. Just a 172 year for him so far. So face Zach Carson. And a late swing and a miss on the fastball out of the lefty, Will Kennedy. A little lefty here, Zach Carson to Will Kennedy here. 1 out in the top of the sixth, a 10-0 Fordham lead. The off-speed pitch dragged outside out of the left hand of Zach Carson, and Kennedy forces a 1-1 count with 1 down and the bases empty. Top six.
Will Kennedy out of Smithtown. He was a Smithtown East high school kid. When I was growing up, Miles, in Smithtown, I was a West guy myself, but, went to Hot Park, so none of it even really matters. But, hey, that's where I lived. And Kennedy, I've known about him for a long time. Really great player. And he's found himself at Hofstra in the 3-hole, really making a name for himself.
And the 1-2 from Carson chopped up the line. Nico Boza at second base handles it. The sidearm toss over to Lutazi and handled routinely. 2 down now in the top of the sixth. And Zach Carson has forced some contact using the defense. And now Alex McCoy, the center fielder, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks on the day. Steps into the right-handed batter's box. He's had a good year, 351. Very respectable numbers, awfully muscular build to boot. And the 0-0 off-speed pitch finds the right outside corner. 0-1 to Alex McCoy.
Yeah, Alex McCoy hit a huge 2-run home run in the top of the 10th versus the University of New Mexico on March 2nd.
And this one powerfully out to the left side, skied to Kean Saylor in left. Saylor, the Willie Mays style catch on the interior. And he will rush in and make the play. 10-0, the Fordham Rams shut down Hofstra here in the away bats in the sixth. It's 5 p.m. here from the Bronx. 10-0 Fordham Rams. It'll be the bottom of the sixth when we come back.
Hey everyone, I'm Michael Calamari, here with Andrew Galata, your main host for the all-new golf podcast here at WFUV, On the Green.
We'll be breaking down all things on the PGA Tour, including tournament predictions, recaps, and news surrounding the sport's best players.
We'll also be joined by recurring hosts Chris Hennessy and Sam Davis, as well as others along the way.
You can listen to On the Green on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Get ready to hit the links here on the green.
I mean, I thought that was like Burke.
And welcome back to Houlihan Park. It's the bottom of the sixth inning here in the Bronx. The Fordham Rams, a 10-0 lead over the Hofstra Pride. Fordham stands at 6-13 on the campaign. Hofstra at 6-12. And now to lead us off here in the bottom of the sixth, Daniel Bucciero, 1 of 2 on the day, including was a very powerful double sacrifice fly. He's had a productive afternoon. And now with nobody down and the bases clear, he'll look to get things going once again, Dan.
Well, out of all the balls hit today, you could really look to Bucciero's double in the third. It's probably the hardest hit one today. Yeah, Bosa hit a shot, but Bucciero got all of it.
First pitch swinging, grounded out to Rosso at third, over to first for Harrington, and the ground out to the left side off the bat of Daniel Bucciero will be the first out here in the bottom of the sixth.
Good old 5-3 in the books.
And Tanner Sanderoff, the lefty freshman, has settled in nicely. He had to deal with the weather delay. Temporarily, the wind and the rain made his job a lot harder.
Yes, it did, Miles. It made everyone's job tough. We had papers blowing in the booth. It was something to be seen.
So now with one down, Andrew Canellis. 2 ABs. 2 flyouts and a hit by pitch. Did steal second coming off the hit by pitch, but takes the first pitch off the plate. 1-0 now. The freshman Sanderoff looks in. Begins the windup in the stretch. The 1-0 just catches an inside corner on the fastball. 1-1 the count.
We promise this is a game between two New York schools, Miles, because the weather before looked like it was a game out of Kansas or something in rural Oklahoma. It was really windy. But it settled down. You got some sun creeping through.
And the 1-1 skied foul well right. Pushes the count to 1-2. And Canellis, of course, today, not terrible numbers. 262 on the campaign, 3 home runs, 13 runs batted in.
And his numbers at four-year transfer from Vassar College, 354, 7 home runs, and 97 RBIs.
Not the first time Layton has looked to Division II or III for some transfers. Of course, we've seen that throughout, particularly throughout the Northeast Division III ranks.
Right. And it's tough. Finding batters is a little bit easier in the transfer portal, but in terms of pitching in the Northeast, you're not going to find a lot of top-level arms, and that's not to the fault of their own. It's just the conditions up here don't really play.
So Sanderoff steps into the 2-2, well inside. Will push the count full here with 1 down in the bottom of the 6th. Base is empty for Andrew Canellis.
There's a reason these teams go down south to begin the year and play some of the best teams in the country. You want to get exposed to these upward 95-mile-an-hour arms. And both teams have really gotten that experience.
So payoff pitch here with 1 down in the bottom of the 6th. Well inside to Andrew Canellis. He'll take his base. Tanner Sanderoff now with 1 on and 1 down will face Tommy McAndrews. And McAndrews, of course, had the moonshot earlier to straightaway center.
Out of Haverhill, Mass, Phillips Andover High School. No batting gloves for Mr. McAndrews.
What he's known for, right? That toughness personified, if you will. The 0-0 pitch fouled right off of the catcher, Mike Dorsey, and looks to be all right. That'll make it a 0-1 count. And this thing has settled in nicely, Dan. It's looked temporarily like we were definitely not going to get any more baseball in. I had a fan approach the press box. He said, "Do you think we're going to play?" I said, "Might as well go home." But he's glad to see he has stuck around.
Pretty good turnout today.
I gave him bad advice.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, anything to keep the fans here a little bit longer. The patrons here at Houlihan Park.
And the 0-1 is well low and inside. Push it to 1-1 with 1 down.
But it was nice to see McAndrews hit his first home run of the year earlier on in the game. In the 3rd inning, again, no batting gloves. He wears them in the back pocket. He's an old school type player. And he really is a big piece to this team. You could look at him and say McAndrews is the biggest X factor on the Rams squad.
So Canellis leads off at first. McAndrews up to bat, the 1-1. Low and outside, make it 2-1. And the rain has certainly held up, but the biggest difference is the wind has also completely disappeared, making it much more comfortable out here.
It's like a brand new day.
But the lefty freshman in the stretch turns and fires, fouled back by Tommy McAndrews. The count will move now 2-2. McAndrews already the walk on the day as well. He earned 8 walks on the campaign at 57 ABs. And one thing that's certainly grown, it seems, in his second year with the Rams is that eye. Here's the 2-2, low and in, pushes the count full. A freshman struggling to find the zone a little bit, and Tanner Sanderoff.
You would like to think, too, in baseball and in softball, that catchers usually have some of the better eyes on the team. Again, they're receiving the baseball all day. They know the strike zone better than anyone else. McAndrews certainly has been using that eye to his advantage this year.
1 down. Here's the 3-2 from Sanderoff, and a powerfully hit ball to the left side. Backtracking under it is Will Kennedy, and just making the play in the left corner of the outfield here at Houlihan Park. It was powerfully hit, but just got a tad under it there was McAndrews. Now he'll represent the second out here in the bottom of the sixth, and TJ Wachter will step up to bat with 2 down and 1 runner on first base.
Thank God for what little wind there was on that, Miles, because I looked over to you. I thought that was a shot by McAndrews down the line. It just stayed in the ballpark.
And Wachter takes this one low and in. 1-0 the count now. The man who leads off first is Andrew Canellis. And now looks like a mound visit on the near side for Tanner Sanderoff. And Sanderoff, the freshman, only had 4 innings pitched on the season coming in, including his first inning of work.
With Wachter at the plate, they're probably game planning him. You know, he's a fastball hitter by nature, but again, you can't get too complacent and throw him something over the heart of the plate, extend this lead any more than it is right now at 10-0.
So TJ Wachter up to bat now. 1-0 is the count here with 2 down. Sanderoff, the lefty, fires. It's fouled back for the first strike of the AB.
Wachter's a free swinger, but we've seen a couple times today. He looks like he's trying to get under the ball. Just put a good swing on it again. You want to hit more down on the ball when you're not hitting your best. But again, Wachter's doing everything right. 6 for 17 in his past 5 games.
Here's the 1-1 once again fouled back. Make it 1-2. Here with 2 down in the bottom of the 6th. Continues to be a double-digit lead for the Fordham Rams, 10-0. We had the weather delay in the bottom of the 5th that only took all of about 15-20 minutes. Ended up being a brief rainstorm. And now the 1-2 crack to center. Alex McCoy, the center fielder, tracks back and parks under it. That'll be the final out here in the 6th. No damage done by the Fordham Rams, and still a 10-0 lead as we head to the 7th from Houlihan Park. Hofstra looking to get the bats going on the other side. We'll be right back after this.
What's going on, everyone? This is Danny Scott, your New York Jets beat reporter. Join me all season long for updates, features, and analysis as the Jets' young core looks to take flight. Follow me on Twitter, dscott_33, or check out our WFUV Sports YouTube page for all things Jets.
Ten to nothing, the Fordham Rams, a double-digit lead here in the 7th inning. Another pitching change out there for the Fordham Rams. This time it's going to be Gannon Brady, the junior pitcher, 6'2", out of Ocean City, New Jersey. And Brady, the righty now, out there in a comfortable spot. I'm Miles Grossman alongside Dan Bartels as we welcome you to the Bronx. We had the weather delay in the bottom of the 5th, but now getting more comfortable here. The wind has dissipated, and Dan, Hofstra just looking to find any sort of offense. They've had some powerfully hit balls, just can't seem to string it all together.
You would like to see them string across a couple of runs for their own sake. A 10-0 win, looking back at that, and the schedule at the end of the year is going to be a little bit daunting, but they have to get through Gannon Brady here, who's been up and down this year, 9 2/3 innings pitched, sporting a 12.10 ERA. He's gotten roughed up a couple times. 1 home run that was hit against him at Wofford on March 3rd. Which was a 6-run, 1-inning performance from Gannon Brady. Very low leverage situation, Miles. Not a lot of pressure. If you're Gannon Brady, you just got to go out there and throw strikes.
Absolutely right. Brady, 9.2 innings pitched, 10 hits given up in those 9.2 innings of work. Good for a 12.1 ERA. And Brady, really one of the many weapons that could use an opportunity to kind of get loose in a midweek situation. Kevin Layton calls on Brady, and it'll be interesting to see if he can capitalize and just sort of settle in here.
Yeah, Brady's an athlete. He's a competitor. He's quite good at basketball. He's quite good at a lot of different sports, but he's a pitcher at the end of the day, and he throws hard, he throws well, he throws strikes. If you're Hofstra, you're wary of that. You're getting juiced up looking for a good pitch to hit.
And the first pitch out of the right hand of Gannon Brady, low and out, making a 1-0 count now to Steve Harrington, the Hofstra first baseman, to begin the top of the seventh. And the 6'2", 200-pound pitcher, Gannon Brady, just fenced off there. Steve Harrington, the ground ball through the left side and into the hands of Kean Saylor out there in left field. A routine single for the first AB facing Gannon Brady. And Brady saw 11 appearances last year, all in relief, a 9.0 ERA through 15 innings. And now just looking to take another step forward here as the junior campaign rages on. First pitch well outside into the right-handed batter's box, making a 1-0 count. And now it's Sean Lane, the batter. Here, of course, Steve Harrington on first base coming off the single.
Lane was an all-Catholic High School Athletic Association player at St. Dom's. Catholic League, used wood bats throughout his time in high school. Certainly a big adjustment at the Division I level, but it's not as tough an adjustment as you would think.
Takes the ball on the outside, and the 1-1 just a tad inside now on the fastball. Catcher Tommy McAndrews likes the spot, but it will be a 2-1 count now. No runners down here with Sean Lane up to bat. And Harrington leading off of first base. Brady fires. This one's sky to center. Ryan Teasy and co. tracking back. And Teasy, the center fielder, will take over, communicate with Nico Boza, charging back from second base. And that will be the first out here in the top of the seventh. Gannon Brady gets the routine fly out to shallow center.
Yeah, Lane just missed that one. We talked about in high school, used wood bats. On a day like this, Miles, they're probably happy they're not using wood bats.
I was going to say, it might be easier, that adjustment, right?
Right, and the sting, too. It's a little bit of cold out there today. I mean, coming into the day, it was warm, but obviously the weather now is impeded on that. So it's a different adjustment. You see the hoodies up for some of these kids, wearing the long sleeves. Brady out there on the mound wearing long sleeves of his own. Kind of what the game has turned into.
Pardon me there. We got a pinch hitter here. Dom Camara, number 6 for Hofstra, the catcher at 6'2" out of Manhasset, New York. The George Washington transfer began his career in the Atlantic 10. It's a 1-1 count.
Was teammates with Sean Lane at St. Dom's.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Both of them ended up at Hofstra. As we said, both of them really good players. Top 100 Newsday talent types.
So Dom Camara is the batter. It's a 1-2 pitch. Faces Gannon Brady as this one's pieced into left center. This one's going to fall over the head of the shortstop, Chris Gennaro. And now some action here to begin the seventh for the Hofstra Pride. Runners on first and second, and Dan, it's a lot of Long Island on first and second.
You could see that, and you could see why they're so good together at what they do. They've been playing together for so long. And that really translates when it comes to baseball and being able to have your teammates back. Camara's had Lane's back for most of his own.
So Michael Brown now the name stepping into the left-handed batter's box with one down. Gannon Brady, the right-handed arm, heaves in and just catches the inside corner on the fastball. Michael Brown squared away to bunt and pulled it back, but just looking to advance the runners possibly with one down. So the righty Brady heaves, and this one just outside the fastball couldn't catch the outside corner, and Michael Brown pushes the count to 1-1.
Baseball is such a humbling sport, Miles. You see these kids in high school so good, right? I think they're some of the best you've ever seen, and they are, don't get me wrong, but they're all in the same field now playing, in a 10-0 deficit. I mean, it goes to show how humbling the game of baseball really is.
There are levels to this, as they say, right there.
Absolutely.
But a 2-1 count now. Gannon Brady facing Michael Brown of Hofstra, and the fastball just catches the outside corner. 2-2 the count with one down, and two runners on now. Dom Camara leads off of first. Steve Harrington leads off the second. And Michael Brown, just 140 pounds, the freshman undersized at 5'8", 140. takes the pitch outside, pushes the count to 3-2. And playing Division I baseball at 140 pounds is quite the impressive feat.
Yeah, it certainly is.
3-2, pieced into left, and this one's going to drop. It'll score at least Steve Harrington from third, and charging around third and holding up there will be Don Camara. But a 1 RBI double there for the 140-pound freshman Michael Brown. That one's got to feel good for the Hofstra Pride on the board here in the 7th. 10-1 now, Fordham on top with 1 down here in a 2nd and 3rd situation for the Hofstra Pride.
It's always a big thing when you're not shut out, Miles. No matter the score at the end of the day, shutouts are not fun.
So Gannon Brady gives up the first run of the day for the Hofstra Pride. And now he'll face the shortstop, Michael Floridis. And Floridis 0 for 2 on the day. Brady gets the fastball across, and Floridis able to hold up on the check swing. The fastball just high at the numbers will push the count to 2-0. Now just 1 down in a 2nd and 3rd situation for the shortstop of Hofstra. Floridis is swinging, and this one's fouled off right. Gannon Brady really battling now.
Yeah, 2-1 count. You have a base open with runners on 3rd and 2nd to put Floridis, but again, you have Dylan Palmer, one of the best hitters in the country, leading off on deck. So you don't have many options if you're Brady.
Gannon Brady held on to the fastball a little too long that time, pulled it across his body. And into the left-handed batter's box for a 3-1 count now to Michael Floridis. Floridis looking for his first hit of the day, would be in a very big spot. Runners on 2nd and 3rd, and Floridis well late on the off-speed pitch. Got fooled a little bit, dunked in there. It'll be a 3-2 count here with 1 down.
If you're Floridis, 1 out, you got to protect at all costs right now. You can see him choking up on the bat a little bit.
Full count, payoff pitch, chipped out there to right center. And this one's flared into the hands of Canellis in right. 2 runs will score on the bases clearing single off the bat of the shortstop of Hofstra, Michael Floridis. And it's a 10-3 Fordham lead now. Hofstra 3 runs across here in the top of the 7th.
This is what Hofstra will do to you. They did this to Columbia yesterday when they had a 4-run 4th inning. They can just put pieces of contact together and get runs across, which is certainly a big thing for them right now.
So Dylan Palmer, the 456 average, steps in and swings on the first pitch, chopped back to Brady, the pitcher. Brady will handle it and get over the first just in time for the 2nd out of the inning. And Dylan Palmer charging down first base made it an awfully close play. But he will be the ground out back to the pitcher in Gannon Brady. So 1 pitch in the AB that time for Palmer. And now quickly 2 down for Gannon Brady, coming off giving up 3.
And you could just see why Palmer's one of the best players in the country. A little tapper over the pitcher, and he almost beat it out. Shows the speed, right? And it shows really the 5 tools that are on display when it comes to Palmer's game.
And Gannon Brady drops in the off-speed pitch. Here in the top of the 7th, 2 down. That'll make it an 0-1 count to Santino Rosso. Rosso in his 4th AB of the day already here in the 7th inning. Grounded down the first base line, well foul. So that'll be an 0-2 count now to Rosso. Rosso already 1K on the day. 1 for 3, 1 stolen base after he got on base. He's the type of player that you want at the top of your lineup, Dan, if you will, can get on base and can certainly create havoc when he's on base.
Make a hit for power, too. He leads this Pride team in home runs.
And just nubbed down the third base line. Gannon Brady will have to pick it up himself, and no throw down the first base line. So the swinging bunt will advance the runner over to third. And now Floridis stands on third. The swinging bunt off of Rosso will land him on first base. And Gannon Brady has given up some action here in the 7th. And, of course, it was a low-leverage spot. But as this 7th inning goes on, Dan, it becomes more and more of a high-leverage spot.
Yeah, and if you're Brady, you're just trying to get outs as much as you can, as best as you can, because that's really all you can do right now. Again, you have enough of a cushion where they could hit home run right now and it wouldn't be a problem. But if you're Brady, you just have to do everything you can to limit the runs.
So Will Kennedy now grounds this one back to Gannon Brady. Brady will flip it over to Lutazzi, and that will wrap up the top of the 7th, but not before some damage is done for the Hofstra Pride. 3 runs across. 8 hits now for the Hofstra Pride on the day. They trail 10-3. The Fordham Rams will bat in the bottom of the 7th when we come back. 10-3. Rams on top.
Keenan Troy here
with Nick Guzman,
and we're responsible for keeping everyone in the loop with the world of soccer, breaking it down weekly on FUVFC.
From the international stage to the domestic leagues, myself and Keenan focus on key storylines, the week's biggest matchups, and everything that the beautiful game has to offer.
Matty B. Monte, Michael Hernandez, and James Burley also lend a hand as we keep our finger on the pulse of the United States men's national team, as well as the build-up to the 2022 Qatar World Cup. You don't want to miss it.
FUVFC is a production of WFUV Sports.
I thought
And welcome back to Houlihan Park. 10-3. The Fordham Rams lead. It's the Hofstra Pride making the trip up from Long Island at 6-12 on a windy Wednesday afternoon here from the Bronx. The Fordham Rams stand at 6-13 on the campaign. Hofstra at 6-12. And here, late in this one, Hofstra looking to limit the Fordham Rams, but we got a pinch hitter to begin the bottom half of the 7th. It will be Michael Bruiser, number 4, in his 21st AB of the campaign. 5 runs in his 20 ABs, and of course, he's been pretty productive. Getting the nod right now, Dan.
Yeah, 6'1", 190. He was an Arizona State transfer last year.
First pitch swinging, grounded down the third base line, and handled on the hop by Rosso. And Santino Rosso sends Bruiser down on just one pitch, so an awfully quick appearance. Not that fun when you're waiting for your opportunity to get off the pine, and then it ends awfully quickly. But one down here in the bottom of the 7th. And now Nico Boza will step up to bat. He's already got the home run to his credit today. Going to get the Fordham bats going here in the 7th. Takes this one chest high, 1-0 the count.
I'll say it again. Boza's shot in the 3rd inning, or 2nd inning, one of the furthest balls I've ever seen hit here. I mean, you have to get a lot of it to hit it down the left field line, 338, but 395 in center miles. That's a lot.
And important to mention, we had a pinching change as well. Matt Haggerty is the name out there, number 31 in blue for the Hofstra Pride. The left arm evens up the count at 1-1. And now with one down, Nico Boza looking to get things going. The lefty pinch low and in. They get 2-1 to Nico Boza. And Boza, of course, 2 RBIs already on the day. A 324 average. He's really solidified himself as one of the better offensive Rams in this entire roster.
Certainly has.
And Boza chips this one out to left center there. Alex McCoy, the center fielder, trots forward, parks under it. And a routine fly out here for the 2nd out in the bottom. Just the 1st out. Oh,
I believe it might have gotten down. It did look like McCoy was going to make a play on it, but I do think it did get down for a single.
Oh, bounced in front of McCoy. Pardon me. So Nico Boza floats one into center.
2nd hit of the day.
I apologize.
It is tough to see, Miles. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt just this once.
So now Nico Boza leads off of first, squaring around a bunt is Diaz, and taking off and sliding into 2nd on the aggressive steal attempt. Nico Boza now stands on 2nd base. And we got another pinch hitter here for the Fordham Rams, Matt Diaz.
That's only Boza's 2nd stolen base of the year out of 3 attempts. He's not typically a barn burner, but he definitely has some good wheels.
So Boza leads off second now with one down. Matt Diaz is the hitter. Fouls this one back, make it a 1-1 count. He's only got 6 ABs on the campaign coming into today, but he's been awfully productive in those. He's a .500 hitter, 2 runs across, 1 RBI, but certainly an RBI situation here with Boza leading off second here with 1 down in the bottom of the 7th.
From Chaminade High School, another team on that Long Island Catholic divisional conference, really tough every year.
And the lefty pitch just catches the inside portion. Looked like a bit of a changeup out of the lefty Matt Haggerty there, but that'll push the count to 1-2. And now Matt Diaz in a little bit of a hole here with Nico Boza leading off of second base. Matt Haggerty, the relief pitcher, looks in for Hofstra, heaves well inside that time. And no swing for Matt Diaz. Push it to a 2-2 count here with 1 down. In the bottom of the 7th, 10-3 is the Fordham Ram advantage. Of course, brace the elements in the 5th and what's been a pretty tumultuous afternoon.
Wind's picking up a little bit again, but hopefully the rain can just stay off a little bit longer.
And the fastball low that time, handled by the catcher behind the plate in Mike Dorsian. But that will push us to a full count here. And the pinch hitter, Matt Diaz, now waiting for his with 1 down and Nico Boza leading off second. Haggerty in the stretch. The lefty gets the swing and a miss on the inside corner. And Matt Diaz, the pinch hitter, down on strikes for the second out of the bottom of the 7th. And now Nico Boza standing on second base, and Ryan Teasy steps up to bat. Looking to pick up 1 more RBI on the day.
That's tough if you're Diego swinging over the top of a slider, back foot slider. Great placement there by Haggerty. That's really where you have to get some of these hitters. Really put in a spot like the back foot where they just can't put a bat on it.
So Teasy comes up with 2 down and 1 runner leading off second in Nico Boza. And here's the leadoff man, Teasy, swings through the fastball there, and Haggerty drops that one in there. 0-1 count now.
Haggerty so deceptive. It did look like a heater, but he may have taken something off that. Teasy was well ahead.
So 0-1 the count. Matt Haggerty, the lefty. This one chipped down the left field line. Ryan Teasy, the grounder, and no throw by the third baseman, Santino Rosso, decided against it. And the speedy Nico Boza hustled down to third base himself. So a first and third situation with a couple really fast guys on the base pass. Ryan Teasy on first, Nico Boza on third. Here for the Fordham Rams with 2 down, and it'll be key.
If you're Fordham, you do that by design. You put kind of a second leadoff hitter in Dieguez in the 9 hole. You put Teasy in the 1 hole. You have Bosa batting in the bottom of the order today. He's a guy who can bat in the top of the order. Again, you have a guy like Saylor batting where Nico Boza normally could be. So you have a lot of options if you're Kevin Layton. Again, like he said, talks about how his small ball approach. But again, he does that in the batting order too, in the way that he can move these guys up and down and provide the best form of offense for this Rams team.
And Saylor can't hold up there on the check swing. 0-2 the count now. Kean Saylor up to bat with 2 down in the bottom of the 7th. A first and third situation for Fordham. Matt Haggerty, the relief lefty, out there.
The rain is picking up a little bit again.
Haggerty, the lefty, skips this one outside. Ryan Teasy will advance to second. Mike Dorsian kept it in front of himself. But of course, Ryan Teasy advances to second with ease, and it is a second and third situation now for Saylor. A single could easily score 2 here in the bottom of the 7th.
4 pitchers for the Pride today, 5 for the Rams.
And Haggerty gets a swing and a foul off from Kean Saylor. Down low, just dribbled in front of the catcher in Dorsian.
Dorsian could not squeeze that. It would have been a strikeout. But again, on a day like this, with the rain coming down a little bit again, I mean, conditions not playing into the favor today. That is of the players.
So Haggerty in the stretch. Here's the 1-2. Gian Saylor couldn't hold up on the check swing there. Tagged him out on the swing, or tagged him out following the strikeout on the swing. So an awkward sequence there. But 10-3, the Fordham lead. When we come back, it'll be the top of the 8th. The Fordham Ram lead 10-3 here through 7 innings from Houlihan Park.
What's going on, guys? Bridge Gotham here, your New York Giants beat reporter for WFUV Sports. Be on the lookout for weekly reports and game recaps on WFUV's YouTube channel. We'll be covering the action all season long. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at BGBridge for updates throughout the games. For all things Big Blue, stay tuned all season long.
And welcome back to Houlihan Park. I'm Miles Grossman alongside Dan Bartels as the rain now picking up once again here. It is 10-3. The Fordham Rams lead the visiting Hofstra Pride, making the drive up to the Bronx from Long Island. And now we got another name out there in relief for the Fordham Rams. The Portland, Maine native Jack Clark will step up to the bump. He's a 6'4" grad student righty. And of course, he was a graduate at a Skidmore College. And Dan, check me if you can, but I think Skidmore is another Division III that Kevin Layton has called on and found some talent.
Yes, it is, Miles. You are 100% right. He was 6-2 in his time there with a 3.73 ERA, 47 strikeouts over 60 1/3 innings of work, 8-5 record from the grad student. Sarasota Springs, New York. A lot of New York today.
Yeah. Of course, we got the Long Island representation in Hofstra and the Bronx representation in the Fordham Rams. The first pitch here to begin the top of the 8th out of the righty Jack Clark. Off speed, misses outside. And Alex McCoy, 0 for 3 on the day, including a pair of strikeouts, look to turn his fortune around as he's well late on the off-speed pitch there. 1-1 the count now.
We have college baseball now, Miles, but the Major League Baseball season started very early this morning.
As McCoy skies this one out to right, tracking back at the wall, and this one's gone. Over the head of Andrew Canellis, he was tracking back, and the wind certainly had something to do with that one, but the solo shot to right off the righty bat of Alex McCoy. He was 0 for 3 on the day ahead of that one, but he gives Hofstra a much-needed boost here in the 8th, make it 10-4, Fordham on top. And Jack Clark, coming out of the pen, gives up a home run to his first batter.
Yeah, McCoy, that will be his 4th home run of the year. The last one came as a 2-run home run versus New Mexico in their 16-15 win in 10 innings. And McCoy was the one that put them ahead in that one, and he puts them not ahead here, but he definitely puts them within striking distance.
Absolutely. A much-needed run, to say the very least. Fordham 10, Hofstra 4 here. The man up to bat will be Steve Harrington, the first baseman today, who moved out to right following the injury of the starting right fielder, Luke Masick.
That was an opposite field shot, too, from McCoy. He got all of that one. Wind kind of died down, so you really have to get a lot of it, and he did.
So 2-1 the count now to Steve Harrington. Jack Clark turns and fires. This one skied back. Just got under it there. Push it to a 2-2 count. And of course, Hofstra, just 6 offensive outs remaining, but they certainly made the most of it there to begin the 8th with the solo shot off the righty bat of McCoy.
Harrington had a team-best 7 home runs and 46 RBIs for the Pride.
As this one's chopped down the first base line, Steve Lutazzi handles it himself. Steps on his bag, Michael Bruiser has substituted in there at first base. He'll take it himself at first. That'll be the first out here in the top of the 8th, and now Hofstra down to just 5 offensive outs.
Yeah, it's tough if you're Hofstra. The clock, there is no clock in baseball, but it's technically ticking if you want to say. And you're right, Miles, only 5 more cracks at it.
So Sean Lane steps up with 1 down here in the top of the 8th. Fouled back the first pitch on the right hand of Jack Clark was a fastball. I'll push the count to 0-1.
So in 2022, when they made the regionals, that was their first appearance for Hofstra to make the tournament since 1960, and they couldn't even attend. You know why? Finals. Isn't that crazy? Imagine that today with the scheduling and everything. So it's unbelievable that 1960s Hofstra Pride team.
Doesn't seem right.
I know, but that 2022 team.
Crime.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And the fastball just catches the outside corner out of Jack Clark for the second strike of the AB.
I like to go down my rabbit holes, Miles, and I like to look up famous alumni of these schools. And Ken Singleton was the Yankees play-by-play from 97 to about 2021.
2021?
Yeah, very recent.
Oh, wow.
So Ken Singleton was a World Series champion, won Roberto Clemente Award, 83 with the Phillies, 83 with the Orioles, excuse me. Really good player out of Hofstra.
As Jack Clark catches the outside corner with the fastball, that'll send one man down on strikes for the second out here.
And it was tough for Hofstra when they finally made it to the regionals. Obviously, first time since 1960 when they couldn't even play. They were in the Chapel Hill regional when they played UNC in Georgia and got smoked.
First pitch swinging, Dom Camara pops this one out to the right side. Andrew Canellis rushing under it, out there in right field, getting under it. And that will be the third out here in the top of the 8th. Your score, Fordham 10, Hofstra 4. We'll take a quick break here from Houlihan Park. It'll be Fordham's, hopefully, final home bats here from Houlihan Park. Right back after a quick break.
What's up, guys? I'm Julia Moss.
And I'm Will Talent.
And we're 2 of your hosts for one of WFUV's football podcasts, NFL Friday.
Tune in every Friday for all news and updates around the National Football League.
Also, we'll be making our picks of the week around the league on every episode. Check out NFL Friday wherever you get your podcasts to catch the action.
And welcome back to Houlihan Park. I'm Miles Grossman alongside Dan Bartels. It's the bottom of the 8th. The Fordham Rams lead the Hofstra Pride 10-4 here from the Bronx. Matt Haggerty out there for a second inning of relief. The junior, 195 pounds. The Hartford Community College product was 1-0 in 2023. Here in his first year with Hofstra, he went from Hartford CC to Elon and then now to Hofstra on his third stop at the collegiate level in a couple innings of work, looking to limit the Fordham Rams to just this 6-run lead here in the bottom of the 8th. Daniel Bucciero will be the name to step into the righty batter's box to begin this home half of the 8th. First one, off-speed pitch, low and in, will make it a 1-0 count to Daniel Bucciero. And Haggerty, another natural-born reliever, begins in the stretch with the bases empty, something you see more and more of in modern baseball at all levels, really, Dan.
Yeah, some pitchers just feel comfortable out of the stretch. A lot of it's a feel thing, Miles, but again, there might be some analytics that play behind it, too.
And the 1-1, off-speed dropped in there for a strike out of the lefty Matt Haggerty.
Analytics playing behind baseball. Oh, that could never happen, Miles.
Clever. As Bucciero now, 1 for 3 on the day, skies this one to the right side. And the count will hold at 1-2. No play on it for the right fielder and Steve Harrington.
Yeah, anything that gets up in the air to right field will have a good chance of going foul today.
Pretty windy, rainy, drizzly, cold afternoon here from the Bronx. A 10-4 Fordham lead. This one fouled back off the bat of Daniel Bucciero, the righty. And Bucciero, the everyday third baseman here in his second year with the program, he made a real splash. Him and Tommy McAndrews last year, really two freshmen who made a name for themselves last year.
11 home runs, 75 RBIs in their first season.
And Bucciero, a line drive out to Floridis at short, snagged out of the air. And Michael Floridis will get the line drive out of the air for the first out at short. Not much movement necessary. Really positioned perfectly, but Bucciero represents the first out here in the bottom of the 8th. And now with one down, stepping up will be Andrew Canellis, the right fielder today.
Yeah, L6 in your scorecard for Bucciero. Line drive at the shortstop. Very similar to the ball that he hit for the double. It was just elevated a little bit more, but even with that line drive to the shortstop, Miles, he was on top of it. He hit a really good piece.
So Canellis fouls this one off to the left side. Just a little dribbler will make it 0-1 here with one down, and the base is empty here in the bottom of the 8th. 0-1 pitch out to the lefty Haggerty, high and out to Canellis. Push it to a 1-1 count here, still one down.
Fordham's 10 runs today will not be their season high. That came on March 10th versus William and Mary. 17 runs on 20 hits.
1-1 just dropped in on the inside portion of Canellis. 1-2 count. Canellis was waiting for the call. Thought he might get the ball call there, but now a 1-2 count, and Haggerty settling in a little bit here in the 8th.
And that explosion for 17 runs snapped a 6-game losing streak for Fordham. Just shows what their offense can do.
Canellis skies this one out to right center. The center fielder, Alex McCoy, tracking back. He'll make the play for the second out here in the bottom of the 8th. And now Carson Chavez, another pinch hitter here for the Fordham Rams, will step up to bat. 6 ABs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, but still looking for his first hit of 2024.
Chavez, he will be replacing Tommy McAndrews. Chavez will be.
And Chavez takes this one off speed outside, 1-0 the count. And of course, Carson Chavez comes in with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th. A 10-4 Fordham lead. But the pinch hitter looking for his first hit of 2024. That one high and out once again, move the count to 2-0.
Freshman catcher, 5'8", 195 out of Long Beach, California. Kind of in that catcher trio we saw last year, Ryan Rockhill, Diego Prieto, McAndrews. Chavez is in the mix with McAndrews this year as well.
And Chavez, of course, takes the off-speed pitch there for a strike. 2-2 now the count. But the big thing for him is this not only be his first hit of the year, it'd be his first hit of his college career. As he holds up on the inside portion, dropped in there, pardon me. That will represent the second strike. 2-1 now the count.
We saw earlier on in the midweek last week when Dieguez got his first collegiate hit against Wagner. That was a great time.
And now the 2-2 fouled back sharply just above the Fordham dugout. So the count will hold it 2-2, but Carson Chavez does have a walk to his credit. 1 strikeout, 1 walk. But in 6 plate appearances, he has reached base at the Division I level. The 2-2 once again chapped right back. The count will hold at 2-2 off the foul ball.
And he's making Haggerty fight here. He's up to 29 pitches. And he's had a couple good swings right back to the screen, Chavez. That's always a good sign, Miles. Shows you're right on it.
So Deuce is wild here in the bottom of the 8th. 2-2. And Chavez chops this one well foul once again. Skied over to the right side. And really beginning to battle is Carson Chavez, the freshman. And it's hard to sort of break into that catcher room, if you will. You know, the phrase quarterback room. They got a nice catcher room here in the Bronx. I mean, Tommy McAndrews is, of course, the name at the top as Carson Chavez takes that one on the inside portion for strike 3. That'll be the third out. We're through 8 innings. The Fordham Rams a 10-4 lead over the Hofstra Pride. Carson Chavez couldn't pick up his first collision hit, and that's how the 8th inning will come to a close. 10-4, Fordham on top as we head to the 9th.
What's going on, everyone? This is Danny Scott, your New York Jets beat reporter. Join me all season long for updates, features, and analysis as the Jets' young core looks to take flight. Follow me on Twitter, dscott_33, or check out our WFUV Sports YouTube page for all things Jets.
And welcome back to Houlihan Park. Top of the 9th here. The Hofstra Pride looking to salvage something from their trip to the Bronx. It's a 10-4 Fordham lead. Hofstra down to their final 3 offensive outs. And we have another name out there for the Fordham Rams. Trey Maker, 6'2", 210 pounds. The senior lefty coming off Tommy John surgery. He had to miss the majority of last season. But out there, just 6 appearances last year, returning from surgery, and now an opportunity to shut the door on the Hofstra Pride on the road.
And he's had 3 appearances this year. He was named a captain as well in his senior year. Trey Maker, 3 innings pitched this year, 5 hits, 7 runs, 6 of which were earned, 5 walks, which you have to watch out for, as well as 3 doubles. So not too particularly pretty if you're Maker. Again, you're a captain of this team. You want to show out every time you take the mound. And he has a good chance here to get the job done and shut the door.
And Trey Maker, the lefty out of Pearland, Texas. Pearland, Texas? Well, how would you pronounce that?
Pearland,
Yeah.
Texas? Yeah. Senior 210.
Yeah, but out of Texas, something you don't really see a lot of throughout this Fordham Ram lineup. But coming off Tommy John surgery, of course, he's got that 18.00 ERA here in 2024. It's safe to say he hasn't gotten much time out of the pen. Of course, just 3 innings pitched, but he's still looking to find himself a little bit. He's overpowering when he's on his stuff, and I think that's really the key. He's still finding that lefty overpowering ability coming off surgery.
He definitely has the stuff to do it, and being from Texas, as the old saying goes, Miles, everything is bigger in Texas. And Maker, 6'2", 210, that's a presence on the mound.
So underway here in the 9th inning, Trey Maker out of the bullpen, fires inside and low on Michael Brown. 1-0 the count, and Michael Brown at 5'8", 140 pounds. He had 2 runs batted in his previous AB, just sliced one into left field. Takes this one low and in, pushes the count to 2-0. But Brown, what you gotta love is the toughness at that size playing ball. Gotta love it.
Yeah, really good piece for this Pride team. Someone who they have pride in themselves.
So the 2-0 pitch, Michael Brown takes it high and out. And of course, one of the things about being 5'8", 140 is you have a pretty small strike zone, a strike zone that Trey Maker has not been able to find. 3-0 the count now to Michael Brown in the righty batter's box. Maker, the lefty, fires in there and right down Main Street. 3-1 the count, and Maker just able to get his first strike of the outing over the plate.
We talk about Brown's height and weight. I mean, his teammate Palmer, 5'9", 145. You look to a guy who just won Rookie of the Year in the MLB, Corbin Carroll, 5'10", 165. So they're not too far off. Really, they are not.
Brown takes that one high and out for the 5-pitch walk. And Trey Maker will gift a free bag to Brown. And now Michael Floridis, the starting shortstop of the Pride, will step up to bat. He's 1 for 3 on the day, 2 runs batted in. Looking to create a little 9th inning rally. And Trey Maker looking to see anything but.
Yeah, Maker not in a save situation, but again, He's named captain because one, typically lefty pitcher is hard to come by.
Right.
Two, lefties that throw strikes. And three, lefties that are leaders. And Maker is certainly one of those guys.
And Brown takes off. No throw down to second. So now Michael Brown already in scoring position. Here coming off the strike to Michael Floridis. The 0-1 count now with nobody down. And Hofstra, a runner in scoring position here in the top of the ninth, trailing by 6 runs. Trey Maker returning from Tommy John. The lefty turns and heaves and drops it in there. Michael Floridis swings above it there. And now an 0-2 pitch to the shortstop of the Pride.
Well, if there's anything, Miles, about these types of games is that no lead is safe. We've seen that too many times throughout Fordham's tenure on the baseball field, but also the teams that they've played too. And you don't want to see Fordham in a situation where they give up those 6 runs.
0-2 from Maker. Looked like the slider couldn't curve it back around. Stays outside. And that'll push the count to 1-2.
A little history on both these schools. Hofstra founded 1935. Fordham 1841. WHRU is their radio station, 88.7. A nice little radio station over there in Hempstead, New York.
Trey Maker in the stretch. The 1-2 is fouled off right. Well late off the bat of Floridis, but he will stay alive. 1-2 the count. Trey Maker stands on the bump, of course. He gave up 1 base runner already.
Hofstra began as an extension of NYU. They have 6,000 undergrads, Fordham 9,000. Not too far off from each other, but a beautiful school.
Maker sends this one down the right field line, does Michael Floridis, but well foul the base. So the grounder foul will keep the count solid at 1-2, and Maker is just trying to settle in, of course. Just 3 innings pitched on the year after only 6 appearances last year before having to miss the remainder with Tommy John on that left elbow.
As we said, Hofstra, a really beautiful school. There's a road on Long Island Hempstead Turnpike, runs west to east, and it runs right through the campus of Hofstra. The north campus is more their athletics, and then their south campus is more of the academics.
So Hofstra looking to mount a comeback here in the top of the ninth as Floridis swings above the off-speed pitch for strike number 3. Trey Maker picks up his first K of the outing, and the Fordham Rams now just 2 outs away from wrapping this thing up in 9. 10-4 they lead. Dylan Palmer, the .450 hitter on the year, as you said, at 5'9", 145 pounds, steps up to bat. He does have a runner in scoring position. Michael Brown leads off a second. Here in the top of the ninth, Maker fires at the eyes of Palmer, making a 1-0 count here with 1 down, 10-4. Fordham on top, looking to shut the door on Hofstra here in the ninth.
Palmer's .400 batting average alone is amongst 34 of the best players in the country. There's only 4 in the whole country batting above .500, so Palmer's in some really good company to begin the year.
And that one off speed, just skirts inside there. Drove Dylan Palmer out of the batter's box, making a 2-0 count. And Trey Maker well aware that he's facing one of the more dangerous bats on this Pride lineup. .450 is average, 25 runs across. He's the leadoff man, and 14 runs batted in. Looking for number 15 here.
And Palmer's a guy, second team All-CAA as a freshman, CAA All-Rookie team. He had 46 games. He started 42, hit .370, had 66 hits, 23 stolen bases, which was good for 4th in the CAA, by the way. Palmer's the complete player.
And Maker, the lefty, the fastball will catch the left corner there.
No relation to Nick Palmer of WFUV.
Not much physical appearance either.
Absolutely.
But here's the 2-1 count now. Maker fires well outside. That'll push the count to 3-1. And Dylan Palmer showing off that veteran eye. Palmer worked already 13 walks on the year. Now a 3-1 count as he faces Trey Maker, a runner in scoring position. Brown leads off second base, 1 down. What could be the final 3 outs for Hofstra, and that one well outside once again for Trey Maker. Dylan Palmer will take his free base at first, And now a little action on the base pass for the Pride here. Just one down. Michael Brown leads off a second. Dylan Palmer leads off a first. And Trey Maker in this bounce back spot from surgery looking to find himself a little bit.
Yeah, I'm okay with walking Palmer there. Again, it's a 6-run lead. Palmer was a guy last year, 20 multi-hit games, ended last year on a 9-game hit streak. So he's not a guy that you want burning you in this type of situation. If you're Trey Maker, you just want to get out of this game.
Brown on second, Palmer on first, one down as Trey Maker fires inside with the fastball on Santino Rosso. A 1-0 count now with just one down here in the top of the ninth, 10-4. The Fordham Ram lead. Trey Maker in there for, as you said, Dan, not the official save, but the metaphorical save. Stands in the stretch, runners on first and second. The fastball low and inside, but just catches the corner on Santino Rosso. Rosso doesn't like the call, but it will push the count to 1-1 here with one down. And Trey Maker needed that one down.
If you're Maker, you just want your 2-ball. Nice double play. Fordham will be out of this game.
Maker, the lefty in the stretch, traps in the off-speed pitch. Make it a 1-2 count now. And Trey Maker, even though he hasn't looked all that efficient, he does have a K to his credit here in the ninth. Looking for number 2, a 1-2 count to Santino Rosso.
I do want to stress, because we are on the radio today, no visual. It was a miracle that we got this game in.
Yeah.
It certainly was.
Dealt with the elements, dealt with technical difficulties, but now that one just a tad outside on Rosso. Now a 2-2 pitch with one down.
There was no cats and dogs being rained, but it was getting there, Miles. It was getting there.
Maker now looks in, peeps back to second, turns and fires the 2-2, and it's chopped down past the shortstop, and everybody will move one station over to their left. And no runs scored there, but the single will advance everybody one bag, and the bases are now juiced here. Rosso able to move everybody over one, and Will Kennedy will step up to bat with the bases loaded. And, of course, it is just a 6-run advantage with the bases loaded, and a pretty solid bat in Will Kennedy up to bat. This one not over yet, Dan.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. Bases loaded. You have the 3-hitter for Hofstra at the plate. Kennedy, he is 0 for 4 on the day, but one swing of the bat, this is a 2-run game.
So one down as Trey Maker fires well outside on Will Kennedy. The bases loaded here with one down. The Fordham Rams lead here in the top of the ninth, 10-4. And Trey Maker now sees that pitch count inching up and up. Just looking to settle in. As you said, Will Kennedy, the lefty batter, 0 for 4 on the day, is a 167 average on the campaign, and the fastball right down Main Street there. Able to eke in for a 1-1 count now with one down.
Does not have a home run either this year.
Be a big spot to get his first.
Yeah.
And Trey Maker, the lefty, looks in the stretch and just catches the outside corner with the fastball. Picked his spot beautifully, and that'll push the count to 1-2. And Maker could really use this K right here, Dan.
Yeah, lefty on lefty. He just dots up that outside corner. Not much you can do with that if you're Kennedy. You don't want to put it in play and concede two either.
Bases loaded, the 1-2 from Maker, and he gets the swing and a miss from Will Kennedy. Kennedy down on strikes, make him 0 of 5 on the day. And the ice-cold day for Will Kennedy. Batters, the bases loaded, representing the final out here for the Hofstra Pride. Maker, the fastball right down the heart of the plate. Now an 0-1 count to Alex McCoy, the center fielder, batting .355 on the year.
I love that sequencing too to Kennedy in the last at bat. Couple fastballs, and then just has to have him swing over the top of that slider because he's protecting that outside part of the plate anyway. Maker's so talented, and that's why he's a captain.
And Maker in a high leverage spot, bases loaded, and a powerfully hit line drive down the left field line off the bat of Alex McCoy. 3 runs will score. McCoy trots into second, and a bases clearing double off the bat of the Hofstra center fielder, Alex McCoy. And 3-run score, make it a 10-7 Fordham lead. And with the backs against the wall, Hofstra comes through with a big piece. And back within just 3 runs now. 1 out away is Trey Maker from wrapping this thing up. But Hofstra showing some life.
Have a day. Alex McCoy hit a home run and then hits a bases clearing double. And now Hofstra's only within 3. It is now technically a save situation. But again, it's tough. Really tough. McCoy having a day.
You were saying a save situation if someone else were to check in here?
Well, yeah, it's gotten to that point. I mean, they're rallied back. 3-run lead now. Really great piece there by McCoy to put it down the line with the bases loaded.
So 2 down, and now McCoy leads off at second base following the bases clearing double. Trey Maker, the fastball, catches the inside corner, making a 1-1 count now with 2 down. And Steve Harrington, 2 for 4 on the day, a .212 hitter on the year, still represents the final out for the Hofstra Pride. It's been quite a special 9th inning rally.
McCoy at second, responsible for 4 of the 7 RBIs today for Hofstra.
1-1. Off speed, just a tad low there. Steve Harrington catches a break as the count moves to 2-1. Here with 2 down. And it was literally the umpire saying this close.
Talk about a break, Miles.
But now Trey Maker takes a peek at his right wrist with the pitch monitor. What would you call it? Pitch watch?
Signaling
device. Exactly. But fires high on the 2-1, pushes the count to 3-1. And Harrington, 2 of 4 on the day. 1 home run on the year, 8 runs batted in. Looking to knock in Alex McCoy, who leads off at second base, and Trey Maker looking to complete this hectic afternoon for the Fordham Rams. Maker low and out there. And that will be the 5-pitch walk for Steve Harrington. Sean Lane, the Long Island native, will step up to the bat into the righty batter's box with the fluorescent yellow bat. But it will be 2 runners on now, and Sean Lane does represent the tying run, something that we definitely didn't think we would say here in this top of the 9th, Dan.
Yeah, when it was 10-0 and you see Kevin Layton going out there making the change, Trey Maker will be done after his work today. 2/3 of an inning, 32 pitches. He had 2 hits, let up 3 runs, which were earned. But what killed Trey Maker today was the walks. He let up 3 out of the 7 batters he faced. Really, really tough for Fordham. And it's a ball game now, Miles. It is certainly a ball game.
And it does look like we will have another pitching change. Connor Haywood, the junior pitcher, 6'2", out of Newtown, Connecticut. Believe it or not, this is an amazing story about Connor Haywood. I attended a Danbury Summer League wood bat game, ran into Connor Haywood.
Really?
Swear to God.
Wow. What are the odds of that? Wood bat.
I was out there with my sister, the Danbury Westerners.
Okay.
The Danbury Westerners. And Connor Haywood didn't play, believe it or not. He was just friends with somebody, so he was just standing behind the dugout talking to the guys. But I was like, I could have sworn that's Connor, and it sure was.
No shit. Connor Haywood, the junior, relieves Trey Maker, the senior, both captains out of the 4 for Fordham. So one captain handing it off to the other. You got a 3-run game. And Hofstra's put up a 3 spot here in the 9th, a 1 spot in the 8th, and a 3 spot in the 7th. So 7 runs in the final 3 innings for Hofstra has brought them back within striking distance, Miles. And as you said, Sean Lane coming up to bat as the tying run, something we did not think we would be saying.
So now 2 down, and Connor Haywood getting loose on the bump for the Fordham Rams in white. And Connor Haywood has been called on in this spot more and more as of late, relied on in high leverage spots. And of course, we know picked up a couple Ks, picked up a high leverage K, if I'm not mistaken, in his last appearance.
Yes. Connor Haywood battled.
At West Point, wasn't it?
Yeah, battled against West Point. Connor Haywood did not give up. There was multiple instances where he could have, given up and conceded a lot of runs to some of their best players. And he came up clutch when Fordham needed him the most.
So 2 down, and Hofstra down to their final out. Connor Haywood called on the righty out of the pen with a 4.36 ERA on the year, 11.2 innings pitched. And now with a runner on first and a runner on second, the batter Sean Lane represents the tying run here from Fordham as Sean Lane pieces up a bouncer through the left side and past the extended arm of Daniel Bucciero. Alex McCoy will come around to score. And just like that, Hofstra within 2 runs and an unbelievable 2-out rally with 2 down in the top of the 9th inning. And Sean Lane keeps it going with the RBI single. So now Sean Lane will stand on first base. Alex McCoy has just scored. Steve Harrington will lead off of second. And now it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, we got a pinch hitter here, Dan Bartels. It's number 8 in Penn Seeley, the utility 6'4" senior. Began his career at Brunswick Community College.
And Seeley, we talk about Saylor on the Fordham side, the concept of a two-way player, right? They can hit and they can pitch. You look at Shohei Ohtani, he's the greatest in the world. You know, Seeley is a guy, Penn Seeley for Hofstra, excuse me, that has done that really well as well. So coming up in a big spot, one swing can really change this game for Hofstra.
So Penn Seeley is the name up to bat. Connor Haywood misses down and out there. A 1-0 count now. You know, it's become an awfully high leverage inning here. Of course, Hofstra already 4 runs across here in the 9th, and Haywood skips this one past the catcher and handled behind the plate now. It looks like we have a substitution out there for Tommy McAndrews. Looks like Diego Prieto, if I'm not mistaken, is the catcher there for the Fordham Rams. But on the pass ball, both runners will advance. Now, 2 runners in scoring position. Steve Harrington leads off a third. Mike Sweeney, the pinch runner, leads off a second base. And Hofstra just trails by a pair of runs. The 2-0 well outside out of the right hand of Connor Haywood. And now a 3-0 count with Penn Seeley up to bat, the 250 pinch hitter. Of course, a single on this 3-0 count would hypothetically tie the game. Haywood, the righty, turns and fires well inside. Penn Seeley earns himself a walk, and back-to-back times now, the Fordham arm out of the pen has given himself a bases-loaded situation. And now the game-winning run stands on first. Not winning, of course, the leading run stands on first base.
It's gotten to the point now, Miles, where Hofstra's looking to win this game and Fordham is looking to just get out of it, and that's not good. Momentum is completely flipped.
So 2 down. Now Haywood, the righty, gets the swing out of Nick Lobello. Now another pinch hitter off the bench of the Hofstra Pride, but the first pitch swinging, fouled right back. It'll be an 0-1 count. And now Connor Haywood with a 10-8 Fordham lead has the bases loaded, 1 out away from wrapping this thing up. Haywood gets the check swing on Nick Lobello. He couldn't hold up, make it a 1-1 count, or 0-2 count, pardon me. Coming off the foul ball and the check swing, and now Connor Haywood just 1 pitch from wrapping this thing up in a bases-loaded situation. 0-2, 2 down, and just misses inside with the off-speed pitch. Nick Lobello gets the call, and it'll be a 1-2 count now. 2 down here for the Hofstra Pride in the top of the 9th. They trail by 2 runs, 10-8. Connor Haywood looking to shut the door. Here's the 1-2 and a good piece lifted into center. Ryan Teasy parks under it, and that'll be the final out of the day. The Fordham Rams will take this one 10-8. And Hofstra, what an effort in the 9th. 4 runs across in the top half of the 9th. They had the bases loaded. But the Fordham Rams come on there via the closer in Connor Haywood and pick up the W. Your final score, Fordham 10, Hofstra 8. Fordham now picks up their 7th win of the campaign. They move to 7-13 on this midweek contest with the Hofstra Pride. Hofstra, on the other hand, falls to 6-13. Fordham's record entering today. A funny coincidence there. But the Fordham Rams, an absolutely dominant start eke into this win a little bit, but nevertheless, a 10-8 victory here on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it almost got away from Fordham, Miles. It really did. We had to deal with the elements today. We've had to deal with a lot of different things. Fordham offensively, Tommy McAndrews, Nico Boza, both with home runs, and Alex McCoy for Hofstra responsible for basically all of their RBIs. I mean, a lot of them, 4 came to his name today. Really good performance by them. Really good performance by Fordham, staying in the game, not giving up. And while it almost did get away, Miles, it didn't at the end of the day.
And the defensive woes continue for the Hofstra Prime. They've now dropped their last 4 contests. And of course, they faced off yesterday on the road at Columbia. They got 8 runs and still fell 12-8. When you score 8 runs consistently, you expect to win some baseball games. But on Tuesday, they give up 12 and fall 12-8 to the Columbia Lions. And now here on Wednesday, giving up 10 on the road to the Fordham Rams, they fall 10-8, even though the offense has been relatively consistent. The Fordham Rams will be back in action this upcoming Friday on the road. It's a 3-game weekend set with St. John's.
Yeah, 1 and 3 will be away at Jack Kaiser Stadium in Queens, and you can catch number 2 at home in between here at Houlihan Park. All those games can be found on ESPN Plus. And for Hofstra, they will begin their conference play, bringing Northeastern to town, who got 8 first-place votes, number 1 in the preseason poll in the CAA, and they will welcome them for the start of their conference play, Miles. So it's getting into that season, and I can't wait.
And we actually have a little bit of a schedule adjustment, if I'm not mistaken, if I got this interpretation down correctly. No Saturday game. They'll play here on Sunday and then back on St. John's on Monday. And, of course, we got some rain coming. We had to deal with the rain today, but that's going to do it. I've been Miles Grossman. He's been Dan Bartels. The Fordham Rams now improve to 7-13 on the campaign. Head coach Kevin Layton picks up the win over the Hofstra Pride. Fordham 10, Hofstra 8. He's been Dan Bartels. I've been Miles Grossman. This has been a production of WFUV Sports.